Boys in the back. Boys.
What is good? We are back with another edition of the Boys in the Back, this time on a frigid Thursday afternoon here in New York City, February 5th, the worst month of the year. I say it every single year, but it leads to new horizons in March. I am one-third of the Boys in the Back, Connor Burks. Joined alongside me, as always, the man, the myth. You know him. You love him. Mr. New York, Rick. How we doing, brother?
I actually feel like we're coming into the warmer. Like
Stop.
Last week it was freezing.
It was 14 degrees when I left my house this morning. I think we're getting used to it.
Last couple of days been warm.
The issue is we're getting used to it, so I'm just like, oh yeah, I just need, my hoodie and my jacket and, some wool socks and I'll be good. I was like, maybe it is in the 30s today. This morning, checked it, 14 degrees as I walked out of my house.
I didn't even turn on the heat on my thermostats in the house. That's how beautiful.
You're lying. Frankie, how you doing back there, man?
He's busy. I was just about to let you know in your ear. He's preoccupied.
Troubleshooting.
No, he's just getting us ready for our first segment of the day.
Oh, yes.
Little IBS?
Fantastic. No.
No, that's someone else.
Crohn's.
Yeah, I'm doing great, man. Thanks for asking. I'm real happy to be here.
Great. I'm glad you're doing good, Frankie. Thanks for answering. Happy birthday to the missus.
Oh, I appreciate that. I'm sure she's listening.
I hope she's listening. I saw the cake you made. It looked delicious. We should have had a picture ready. Frankie actually whipped up a fantastic cake for his beloved for her big 40th. Big 40th.
Big 40th.
Shout out to her.
Some say the end.
No, it's just been you that's been saying that. It's just been you that's been saying that.
Right.
We got a jam-packed show today. Obviously, Ariel off at the Olympics, so... unfortunately, fortunately for you guys, you're going to be seeing a lot more of us sitting in these chairs over the next few weeks as he is out in Italy covering the games at Milano Cortina for CBC. The Winter Olympics, a big deal for him. But man, not having those two shows, a lot of news starts to pile up throughout the course of the week. So we got a lot to get into. The world of boxing had a lot of news. The world of MMA had a ton of news throughout the course of this week. And we also have to talk about Knucklemania 6 this weekend. UFC Apex 113 is also going down. PFL, Road to Dubai. I mean, there's a lot to get into. We're going to be tired of talking after a few hours. But I did mention Knucklemania 6. And before that goes down this weekend in Philadelphia, we wanted to welcome in BKFC President David Feldman to the show. David, thanks so much for joining us, man.
What's going on, guys, man? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. And I just wanted to start this off. Last year, me and Rick were in attendance at Knucklemania 5. And to this day, we've been to UFC, we've been to boxing, we've been to regional shows, everything. The most fun we have ever had at a combat sporting event. I'm not just saying that because you're on the show. We say that regularly. It is the best time we've ever had. You don't really have to sell us. How do you sell the fans on Knucklemania 6?
I mean, it's a stat. The card is so stacked from top to bottom. It's the best card we ever put down. I think 13 fighter in light candidates. Main event is Andre Arlovski versus Ben Rothwell for the heavyweight championship. Andre beat him twice. Ben's trying to avenge that defeat. It's going to be great. The co-main event, Juggernaut, Lorenzo Hunt versus Dave Mundell, number 1, number 2 pound for pound BKFC fighters. And then just up and down the whole card, some of the best fights and fighters that we've ever had. It's going to be unbelievable fighting, but it's going to be an unbelievable event. We have a lot of different activations we're doing to not only make this a great fight night, but also make this one of the best really fun event nights that anyone's ever going to have here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and David, it was just recently announced that you guys are going to be streaming this free on the BKFC app, as well as the BKFC YouTube channel and all your other streaming partners and distribution partners as well. What was the thought process that went into making that decision?
The thought process was that we talked to all our partners and we said, look, let's get more and more people involved with BKFC and understand what BKFC is and watch BKFC, and let's give it to them. Just give it to them so they can become a fan. And then, obviously, if we do a behind a paywall or subscription, we can charge them in the future. But let's give the biggest event we've ever done to the fans so we can get more fans. By giving it out, we're actually going to get way more fans that way. And we're going to be able to just really monetize this in different ways. And it's great to have all these numbers that we're going to have as we're negotiating these big television and platform deals right now.
Yeah, and you in 2024 signed a 3-year deal with DAZN as the home of BKFC. What was their response when you brought this idea to them to kind of, widen the tent, and how have things gone with DAZN thus far?
DAZN's been great. I mean, to be very fair and honest, and they'll say the same thing. We got lost in the mix a little bit with a lot of stuff they were doing with Saudi Arabia. So, we're scheduled to have a good call and really plan to grow BKFC on DAZN. DAZN was very, very happy with this decision to the point where they actually put it in front of their paywall. So it's not even behind the DAZN paywall for them at all. It's not like it's actually free with them. It's free with every single one of our partners. So every single one of our partners is on board to get more and more people to enjoy, to learn, and to know what BKFC is. So, we get a significant site media deal or media fee for this event, rights fee, but what's that really doing in the whole big scheme of things, right? Let's give it to them. Let's get people. You guys were there. I don't want to sell it to you guys, but you just said it was one of the best events that you've ever been to. Now these guys get to watch one of the best events they're ever going to see for free, and then they'll become fans of BKFC. That's really the strategy behind the whole thing.
You mentioned that co-main event, Lorenzo Hunt, David Mondell. We were supposed to see Yoel Romero in that spot. He unfortunately had to pull out due to illness. But now we're seeing videos surfacing of him signing with IBA, Bare Knuckles, slated to fight in March. I was just wondering where his contract stands right now.
He was actually scheduled for that fight prior to this fight. So he was scheduled for a fight at the end of March. That was already done. This is people trying to cause trouble online by posting these things that have been there for already 2 months now. But the end of the day is he has to make up this fight for us. I mean, he will make up this fight for us. He wants to make up this fight for us. He wants this fight. And we have a big fight card that we're going to announce, maybe at Knucklemania. We're trying to cross this one fighter, over the line today. If we get that done, we're going to announce a major, major fight for BKFC, and Yoel will be a part of that as well.
When is that major fight potentially slated for? Like, what event will we be looking at? Because you've announced a lot of your forward schedule. Would it be one of those events that we already know?
Midsummer.
Okay.
In Florida at a stadium. So a big event.
Speaking of big fights, big events, one of the staples of past Knucklemania has been Mike Perry. I saw in an interview with Damon Martin of MMA Fighting, you mentioned a huge fight, 5 times bigger than any name he's ever fought before. Do you have any further details on that? Are you able to reveal anything? Can you even give us the slightest glimmer of a hint so that we could know who's coming for Mike Perry?
That's what I'm working on right now. That's what I'm trying to get over the line. I think I'm going to get it over the line today, and we'll announce that this weekend at Knucklemania. Just so you know, when I say 5 times bigger, except for Jake Paul, obviously, not too many people are bigger than Jake Paul, but 5 times bigger than anyone he's ever fought for BKFC, and that certainly is that. And I think fans are going to get very, very excited about the announcement. It's something that they're going to want to be a part of, and they're going to watch it. And our goal is, as you know, I try to push the envelope. I try to do things that other people aren't doing, and our goal for this event would obviously be to break the combat sports attendance in the state of Florida. And that's what we're going to attempt to do on this event.
So the plan for Mike Perry with this massive fight is to do it at a stadium in Florida?
Yes.
Wow. Incredible. You also mentioned, talking midsummer, we were supposed to do the $25 million Baddest Man tournament, and that was slated for March. Now we're talking about June. Is the plan still to go forward with that in June? Yeah,
we actually just on February 11th, we'll sign our contract with the platform that's going to carry this event, and it's going to be a docuseries / reality show leading into this event. So we were just really waiting to get that done, because without the right streaming partner or television partner, it just didn't make sense, and we got that done. So we're going to be able to announce that mid next week.
One of the interesting things about that tournament when you announced it was how wide the net was cast, right? That there was opportunities for so many different fighters from different disciplines. You're essentially welcoming everybody to come prove that they're the baddest man on the planet. Can you give us any updates in terms of what the roster, what the tournament looks like, any of the talent that you've been recently able to sign up for it?
I mean, really, anyone that's not under contract, and a lot of people that are under contract has reached out to us, really, throughout the whole entire world. I mean, it's a life-changing amount of money for anybody that gets involved with this thing, no matter what kind of money they're making. There's 2 or 3 fighters in the world that this wouldn't get them excited. Everybody else's will get them excited. Don't have any specific names, because we're not actually sure exactly who we're pitting picking. We're going through a casting process in about the next 3 weeks. And once we go through that, we're going to know it's not just if you can fight. It's also, can you sell yourself? Do you want to be a part of this? Are you worthy of being called the world's baddest man? Meaning, do you have the personality that backs that up as well as the fighting ability? And that's what we're looking for. And that's what we're going to narrow down in the next couple of weeks.
You talked about, growing the sport, growing the fan base. You also recently announced a deal earlier with Yes Network for some shoulder programming and an additional docuseries and things like that. Question number one is there an opportunity to potentially do live broadcasts with Yes at any point in the future? And then question number two is that any signaling toward a move to New York and legalization, and if them as partners can help open that market for you?
Yeah, man, it certainly is. I mean, look, they're owned by the New York Yankees, and that's the plan. When they mentioned certain things to me, that's what really got this deal over the line. It's not a significant deal, but it's as far as monetary goes, but it's a significant deal with everything else around the whole entire realm of it. It'll help us move into New York, absolutely. The goal is to actually do an event at Yankee Stadium, and I don't know who we would put on that. So I'm not like over here delusional saying we're going to do an event at Yankee Stadium, because obviously it's got to be the right guys, but they are very interested in doing an event at Yankee Stadium. So that's something we would love to do too.
Would that air on Yes Network, or is that just too far down the line to be able to say?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. It all has to make sense financially.
I mean, you have big plans, one being this weekend. You want to break the attendance record that you set last year. Obviously, you guys are going to be in the same arena. We were there. Like, it didn't seem like there was an empty seat in the house. How do you feel about that record getting broken?
Well, so we opened up. We had something that was hindering some of the seats in our production area. We opened them up. We actually already broke the record this morning. So we're actually going to hopefully get to 20,000 tickets. I don't know if we're going to get there, to be honest with you. I don't know, but thank you so much for that. But we're going to, we already broke it. So, I mean, it's crazy because that's a lot of people, man. Like, when I started this thing, I'm in a casino. I'm at the live casino right now because we're about to do our press conference for Knucklemania, our fight week press conference. About 3 blocks from here is where I did the first event with 4 people in attendance in one fight. 4 people in attendance in one fight. And we're going 3 blocks away, and we're going to do 20,000 people paying to watch this event, on Saturday night. It's just an amazing feeling because nobody knows, all the hard work that it went through. But I tell you, what I did do is we had a poster from our first event in June of 2018, and I looked at it yesterday, and I thought that was my son. Like, that's how much I aged over this process. It's just been crazy, man. It's crazy, but I mean, we're really moving mountains here. We're changing things. We're giving fighters opportunities. We're doing things that no other organization's doing, and above all, everybody can talk and everybody can say what they want. Our viewership is through the moon, and we sell out everywhere we go.
So you talked about that founding. You talked about the first event. That's 8 years now from then. Where do you expect to be 8 years from now? You talked about the growth and the trajectory that you're on. Where do you expect BKFC as a promotion to be 8 years from now?
I mean, I'll probably be dead by then at this rate, but really, I expect it, honestly. There's no way in the world that it's not at very least the number 2 combat sports promotion in the world. It's too relatable. Too many people get it. Too many people understand it. Too many people love it. Too many people enjoy it for it not to be. It's just growing and growing and growing because everybody said, for guys that never watched this before, like I watched some of the content comments. I look at all that kind of stuff, and some of them go, this will be banned in a year. Listen, we're 8 years into it. It's getting safer. We're regulating it even tougher than we ever did. There's no stopping the growth. There really, truly isn't. That's not being cocky. That's just being as real as can be. You can't stop the growth of it right now. You just can't. We're going to be doing 12 countries this year. We're going to be doing 28 states this year. We're opening up 2 more big states. Everything is just working in our direction. We put a lot of hard work into this thing. We take care of the fighters, and that's why they go in there and truly fight their ass off each and every time that they go in there. They have to, or they don't come back, and that's just the way that it is. So I think we have a product here that is capable of being, the number 2. And if I want to be very, very optimistic and passionate about this thing, possibly the number one combat sports promotion in the world. We'll see, right? That's not my goal. My goal is to be the solid number 2 combat sports promotion in the world, and I think we're going to get there.
He's become a bit of a face for the promotion. Can fans expect to see Conor McGregor in attendance this weekend?
Yeah. Conor will be here. He had a little bit of an issue getting to the press conference just because something had happened with his travel. But let me tell you something. I just want to tell you guys this. The best times 10 Conor McGregor you've ever seen right now. Better than he was when he was in his prime. The most focused, just wants to do everything right. I mean, he's training his ass off each and every day. He's eating right. He's going to church. He's doing everything he's supposed to do. This is not a Conor McGregor that we've seen in the past couple of years. This is the best Conor McGregor that I've personally ever seen. And I'm talking on TV and everywhere. I've never seen a Conor McGregor like this, more focused than I ever thought he ever could get, but he is.
All right, so what's the David Feldman confidence meter at on us seeing him fight at the White House this summer?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know the negotiations going on as far as financially, so I don't know. I know that Conor had said publicly, that his contract was a little shaky because of the pay-per-view point that he had in there, but I'm sure that the UFC wants Conor McGregor to fight. He's going to fight, and they're going to make it work. And it makes sense for him to fight the White House, right? I mean, he visited the White House. He's friends with Trump. He's friends with Trump's wife. It just makes sense for him to be here. So my confidence level is probably around a 99%.
All right, David, thanks so much for joining us, man. This Saturday, February 7th, Xfinity Mobile Arena in Philadelphia. There it is, right there. Knucklemania 6, Rothwell Arlovsky, your main event. Cannot wait for this one. We really do mean it from the bottom of our hearts. The pacing, the excitement, everything that goes into your product, you're doing fantastic stuff, man.
Awesome, guys, man. Thanks for having me, and thanks for always covering this and supporting us, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, David. Good luck this weekend, man.
Okay.
All right.
I know he was on the show, and we're big upping him and stuff, but I feel like we have always said that since we went last year in Philadelphia. Truly, if they come to your city, I highly recommend going. It's affordable tickets. It's an exciting product. It moves fast, and it really is like something you've never seen. It's intense.
I have to admit, when BKFC was first entering the scene, I was a little bit hesitant. I was a little bit skeptical. The lacerations, the actual scars and damage that was done on the faces was a little jarring for me. But I've come to really just kind of get used to it and accept it. And as far as promotions that are actually going out there and trying to do something different than what the UFC is doing, I think they're kind of leading the way. I think they're one of those promotions that isn't trying to do such a similar product to the UFC that they're just getting swallowed up. Talent gets there. Somebody like Ben Rothwell was somebody who really didn't have a great ending to his UFC run, goes there, gets rejuvenated. Don't even need to speak about the wonders Mike Perry has been able to do for their promotion and they've been able to do for him. It's an interesting thing. I wonder if they're even already number 2. Feldman was talking about 8 years from now will be solidified as number 2, maybe in the most optimistic world number 1. That's where I'd probably draw the line myself. But I wonder if they're already the number 2 promotion in combat sports. Boxing's a little harder to quantify because it's so diversified and split up, but yeah, they've got a great product. I really like David Feldman as a promoter. He shoots it straight, which is something that you kind of rarely get. And it's a good product if you're looking for something different.
Yep, Saturday night, February 7th.
Oh, you're the champ now.
Tune in. I got my mini belt here. The size fits perfectly. I could never get into a BKFC fight. Should be entertaining stuff. It always is, especially their Knucklemania cards. And you also got Ben Rothwell versus Andrei Arlovsky. Ben Rothwell's had a nice resurgence over in BKFC.
It really has helped rehabilitate some guys that were kind of left on the scrap heap. He's looked great.
The guys that are made for it.
Yeah. You have to be a different kind of
some
dude.
are not.
Yeah.
You literally have to be built differently. So that'll be exciting stuff. I'm looking forward to watching it on a nice little, it's kind of a quiet Saturday, but it's a nice slate with the UFC, the PFL in the morning, UFC in the afternoon, and then BKFC at night. It still should make for a good combat sports.
It's another Uncrowned Saturday.
I was going to say, Uncrowned Saturday 2.0. This is for the real hardcores. This is not for the casuals. Let's get over to some news in MMA.
Anything interesting happen?
Yeah, just a couple things.
Okay.
Like, as we were prepping for the show, it was just like, oh, geez. Hey, we got to talk about this. Oh, let's make sure we talk about this. Oh, yeah, we also got to talk about this. The laundry list. This is the longest list of topics we've ever had for the boys in the back.
Okay, but to pull back the curtain, yesterday morning when I woke up, I was like,
What are we going to talk about?
fuck are we going to talk about? Like, we have nothing to talk about.
Well, the good news is we have things to talk about. Yesterday, Dana White sat in a courtroom of Judge Richard Franklin Boulware and testified in a hearing related to the remaining antitrust class action lawsuits brought on by Jon Johnson and Misha Serkinov. Our man out in Italy, Ariel Helwani, reacted to that. Let's kick off the conversation with his thoughts.
Buongiorno, friends. I miss you all very much. Here in beautiful Livigno, Italy. I got here yesterday. I did a whole video blog thingy on my social media. You can check that out. Shout out to Spencer for helping me out with that. I would have never understood how to do the VO, as they say in the business, the voiceover and all that. But as you can see, it's quite the locale over here. And exactly right over there is the Big Air Mountain. These blokes go all the way up via an elevator and then jump off this thing. It's actually quite terrifying, but very, very impressive. Anyway, I'm not here to tell you about the Olympics, so there's a lot going on. We could talk about the Finnish women's hockey team all succumbing to the neurovirus in their first match against the Canadian team getting canceled at the last minute. Or we could talk about Mark McMorris getting injured, but we're not going to talk about all of that. A couple of news and notes regarding combat sports that I just quickly wanted to weigh in on. The main one being this Dana White testimony, which occurred Wednesday in Las Vegas for the class action lawsuits. You know, we know about the one that has come and gone, but there are still two more that have yet to play out. That's the Jon Johnson one and the Misha Serkinov one. And Dana White and Tracy Long, longtime paralegal, longtime member of the UFC's legal department, on the stand yesterday. And I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty. I'll leave that to the boys, who will do a phenomenal job of getting into all of that. But I did want to weigh in on him essentially saying that he has had nothing to do with contracts and UFC matchmaking since 2016, since the company was sold to Endeavor and, you know, the Fertittas left. And he essentially also said that Hunter Campbell is the man for that. And my take on that is, I told you so. I've been telling you this for a long time. Hunter Campbell is the straw that stirs this drink. Anytime there's a contract dispute, anytime there's a big fight that needs to be made, is Dana aware? Is Dana involved from afar? Sure. Is he on the front lines? No. That's according to all the managers and fighters that I've spoken to over the past 10 years. It's not Dana reaching out. It's not. Very few of the managers talk to Dana. You know, we know about the ones who have, you know, close personal relationships with him, but very, very, very few actually talk and negotiate to Dana. He might come in at the very end to close a deal. He might be involved in a Conor McGregor fight, but 99% of the fights are not put together by him. 99.9% of the contracts are not put together by him. And this is not an indictment on him. I've been telling you this for a very long time. He used to refer to Hunter Campbell as like his lawyer. He's much more than that. He is, as I've said before, the most important person in this company because of how hands-on he is. And, you know, the way it was described to me when he came on board after Lorenzo left, like he was going to be the yin to Dana's yang, and he was going to be the quote-unquote bad cop in that he's going to be the one, you know, on the front lines doing these deals. And so perhaps a revelation to some, not to me, but interesting to hear him say it, of course. I'm not trying to say like, oh, I told you so and this is a non-thing. He's never really said that. So, you know, the sport and the promotion and the business has evolved so much. By the way, I did hear some people weigh in on the fact that like, oh, this is why he feels disconnected. I don't buy that. He's still involved in the top line stuff, but there are a ton of other people involved now. It used to be a very small team there's the whole TKO team, there's the whole Endeavor team, and obviously there's people like Hunter Campbell there. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. The previous class action lawsuit covered up until 2016, 2017. And so there's still a lot more years to come. And I know that there are a lot of fighters banking on that. I have heard from fighters who have gotten their payments and they're happy with it. So this is a gift. This is something that a lot of fighters who are maybe struggling or who are hoping to get a little extra cash now on the back end of their career, post-fighting, this is something they're very thankful for and very excited about. Even though they may not say it, and even though some of them may be a little trepidatious, they are all very, very happy about the payments. So we'll continue to monitor that. All right, that does it for me here. I'm just itching to talk to you all. I miss you all. I wanted to weigh in on those two things. I think they're very, very interesting. And yeah, buonasera, buonanotte, buongiorno, ciao ragazzo, ciao bella, pronto. I'm working on it, guys. Had a tremendous pizza yesterday. I was thinking of you guys every step, every bite. And yeah, thanks for holding down the fort. Ciao.
How about that?
I mean, I have to say, the mountains look unbelievable out there. It looks incredible. You think he was really thinking us, everybody, of the pizza?
Yes.
How do you say grazie? Grazie, Ariel.
I'm going to leave this one to you.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno. I love how he's just like,
Ciao.
all right, so goodbye, ciao, pronto.
Thank you to Ariel Helwani, who's at the Olympics.
Yeah, appreciate you weighing in on that. That ski jump behind you, my God, that looks death-defying.
Insane.
I'm getting kind of hyped for the Winter Olympics.
I'm getting excited about it.
Okay, so yesterday the testimony happens with Dana White.
Yep.
As Ariel said, not something that's really a revelation for fans who closely watch the sport, that he's not involved in the matchmaking, he's not involved in these contract negotiations, he's more of this face. But to hear him say it under oath in a court of law, I think that is significant.
No, absolutely, because I think for the fans who are not as attuned to the day-to-day, for the fans that are not following every coming and going, who didn't see the Roku series where Aljamain Sterling's actually talking to Hunter Campbell and those kind of things, or even when Dana White's talking about Francis Ngannou and saying, I don't deal with Francis, Hunter deals with Francis, right? The people who don't follow that part of it, the hardcore, probably think Dana White is the guy making all the decisions, the guy who's making all the matches and everything's his, and that's kind of the role of the face of the promotion. That is the role of Dana White. You are supposed to assume that he's involved in all of that. The interesting thing is, there was a time many moons ago where he was making those decisions, whether it be by committee or not. His hands were all over every part of it, and now he has moved in the backseat. He is no longer the one controlling these things in a major way. He's, as Ariel said, do you think Dana White's not aware of the biggest moves that are happening in the UFC? Certainly not. Of course he's in the loop on these things and can weigh in when he needs to. But the actual day-to-day negotiations, the actual conversations with the fighters, the actual matches being made, that's out of his hands at this point. And he says it on the record here.
And this coming at a time where many fans are starting to point out more a seeming disinterest from Dana White. Obviously he's got Zuffa Boxing. We had the power slap for a while and everything like that. And then you look at some of these interviews when he went on the press tour for the launch of Paramount Plus, and he's sort of just like, yeah, sure. No, sounds good. It feels like he's a little bit disconnected, and now for him to get in a court of law and be like, no, I don't have anything to do with the matchmaking. I don't do any of this. I've passed off the buck to Hunter Campbell. Let's go through some of the things that he said. I want to give a shout out to Zach Arnold, Fight Opinion on Twitter. He was keeping us consistently updated throughout the proceedings yesterday. You can read his full article at the MMAdraw.com, so make sure to check that out. But let's go through some of these tweets that we found to be pretty interesting from Dana White and everything that happened. Before 2016 sale of UFC to Endeavor, Dana says he, Lorenzo Fertitta, Joe Silva, and Sean Shelby were matchmakers. Dana talking about making group decisions on matchmaking and final approval. Dana said after Hunter came in, he had zero role in contract negotiations. Yeah, so interesting to see that the sale was the demarcation point, right? At a certain point, this company is so valuable, and now Dana White moves into a completely different role. But as, I just touched on, there was a time where Dana White, prior to the sale, was involved in all of this, was the spearheading
force behind all these kind of decisions. And now it is something that has completely shifted to the point that he continues to say, Hunter. This is Hunter's gig now.
Yeah, it all goes through Hunter. We can continue along with the tweets because it's not just contract negotiations. Dana White was asked if he stopped communicating with fighters and managers after WME sale in 2017. Dana said, if a fighter reaches out to me, why are they looking out for me? What's going on? Dana says he's still promoting fights. They get it down to the 1 yard line. They, assumingly meaning Hunter Campbell, Mick Maynard, Sean Shelby, those type.
And that if he needs to be involved, maybe he can be, right, to kind of get something all the way done. But again, more evidence to the point that the structure of this has completely shifted.
We continue along with these tweets here. Dana White asks if fighters reach out to him, why do they want to talk to me? He says Maynard, Shelby, and Hunter deal with fighters, and Dana forwards contact to them. Dana is asked if he asked about adding arbitration clauses to contracts. Less than zero with contracts, assumingly meaning that he has nothing to do with the contracts at all, and he hasn't for a while. These cases, if I'm not mistaken, stem from fighters that fought from 2017 and onward, and from what he's saying, he has had nothing to do with the contract since then.
Yeah, and inserting any types of clauses and anything that would be relevant to this upcoming litigation.
To the point where fighters are reaching out to him to try and talk to him, like the boss man. You know, every time they're in the post-fight pressers, they're in the post-fight speeches, they're always referencing to Dana. They're always going up to him after the fights. When actually, like, if you do that, he's just like, no, bro, talk to Hunter. Talk to Sean, talk to Mick.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the interesting thing is Dana White, part of Dana White's appeal and part of the reason Dana White is where he is because as he was the president of the UFC, he felt like he was one of the fans, right? He was an everyman, and he was this, now granted, he had some very wealthy and powerful friends, but he was this fan of combat who was like us, just wanted to enjoy some great fights, could talk the talk, could hang with him at a bar, the type of guy you quote unquote want to have a beer with and that type of shit. And now we're in a position where the fighters who have grown up on that, who wanted to be into the UFC and have thought of that, are entering an era where it's like the Dana White that existed back then, the Dana White brand that was built back then, it does not exist anymore. He's just a figurehead. But if you actually want to get the business done, if you want to sit down, like there was photos of when Conor McGregor was signing new deals, he'd be at the bar toasting with Dana Lorenzo. And like that kind of thing, I don't think is the environment that exists anymore. And so these fighters that have grown up on this and wanted to be here for so long and thought about that, are basically just having conversations with Hunter Campbell and the matchmakers. Like that is how that goes. But it's an interesting dynamic that Dana White's like, yeah, just forward that email. Like I just pass them along. It's not me.
Actually, he doesn't forward that email because he does say during the
That's right, he doesn't have email.
Crazy. Does not have email, doesn't know his phone numbers, only uses his Instagram.
Okay, there's a point, there's an interesting little side departure note that part of the conversation here is that they've been like accused of like obfuscating.
That was a tough one, man. I give you credit for it.
Information, right? They've been accused of limiting text messages, deleting things. There's a phone lost at by Dana White, and he had a justification for that yesterday, saying like at some point in this little time frame, we lost the phone and yada yada yada.
On Ari Emanuel's relative.
There was a relative of Ari Emanuel who was involved.
He admitted to having a burner phone when he was going
in China
to China. But when he was in China, there was zero business discussions made on said burner phone. So like it's okay that it was a burner and it's gone.
There's some serious kind of things also at play here beyond just like the inner workings of the UFC, the parlor drama and all that stuff. There are some serious, like, does the government have all the information needed for this case to be properly adjourned? Like for this case to actually have the correct information and everything at their disposal, that is kind of the heart of what's going on here. And so the UFC like structure and who's in power and all that stuff is very interesting, but the real heart of the matter is actually like what happened to these text messages. Were there any text messages deleted? Was there a phone lost? What was on that phone and all these things? So there's a lot of like conversation about that, but it's very important to what will happen because as you can imagine, you lose messages about some sensitive information that you go, oh, whoops, I lost my phone. It does draw suspicion.
Well, Zach Arnold and Nate Wilcox in their article on themmadraw.com mention as much. They say that the judge really pressed Dana White when it came to the loss of the cell phone, the text messages being deleted, everything like that. That's where they really pressed it. They don't care about the inner workings of the UFC. That's really just interesting from a fan standpoint. What went on and how this case is determined is the high stakes part of this. I mean, they say right here, the high stakes part of this case is not only does each present the possibility of another 9-figure settlement for the UFC. This is 2 more cases, the last one being a $375 million payout.
And I believe they're Cajun Johnson and Misha Serkinov.
Yeah, who fought all the way up until 2022. In the Lee versus Zuffa, that was $375 million. But then they also say it presents the possibility of injunctive relief, which would mean that TKO might be forced to modify their business practices, which could be very significant, and especially with the launching of Zuffa Boxing just happening right now, which seems to be a carbon copy of UFC in the way that they handle their business.
Yeah, wide-ranging implications for this. So very important. The Dana White element of this is most important to the story of if Dana was involved in this, to what extent, right? Because basically what he's painting the picture of is like, I'm not involved in any of this. Like, this is all these other guys. Talk to them. I'm not involved. Okay, that's fine. But then, like, what is their involvement in terms of this? And do we need to have additional discovery here?
Let's continue along with the tweets here from Fight Opinion, Zach Arnold. Dana White was asked about Hunter Campbell in his original role as UFC head of legal. Dana brought him over to the matchmaking side. Basically, you handle the whole business side of the fight game. I mean, that is a testimony in the court of law being like, I got nothing to do with this, man. Since over the last decade. I mean, that's what Ariel said in his reaction video, talking about, his relationship with managers and them talking about Dana White and everything. It's been for the last 10 years, which holds up in a court of law. Hunter, it's all you, man.
Yeah. Dana's running it.
Hunter's running it. Dana's running from it.
Dana's running from something. Dana losing the cell phone, no email. Interesting.
We keep rolling along with the tweets here. Just a couple more. Simon Samano says, Dana White tells the court, you will not find one manager on this planet who will tell you I've negotiated a contract and I do not know how long.
Yeah, that feels very definitive too, right? It's like he's even establishing the fact that, like, even with the managers, he's not having these conversations, and which confirms what Ariel was saying in the video that he sent in. Like, the managers are going to Hunter. They know that it's Hunter. And I wonder if from this, the fans will start to understand this as well. I wonder if from this, like, the fans will have a better understanding of it. I also wonder how much do they even care? Like, Dana White being the face of it, like, there are many companies that are run where, like, the CEO is not getting involved in the back end day to day. It's very unique that he would be. The one thing I'll say is, I think the point you made about, like, the Dana White apathy and lack of, like, connection to the product, I think is very much aligned with this thing. The idea that, like, as he took his eyes off what was going on the business side, as he moved further away from it, as he handed it over to Hunter Campbell, you no longer have to know who's fighting who. You no longer have to be as involved in the product. And I wonder if Dana can be as effective as he once was, if that's the case. I think the answer is probably no, as we're seeing in practice.
I think it would be impossible to. When he's in those inner workings, you know so much more about the game. Therefore, you're passionate about it. You get excited about it. There's no way he could replicate that without doing it.
The only bit of bail I'll throw is that is not a unique circumstance. In many companies, I think fight sports are very unique, and that's why it doesn't always work this way. But, as an example, David Feldman just came on earlier today with us. David Feldman knows every single thing that's happening in that company and is involved in it to the degree that Dana was back then. Many companies have CEOs who are not doing those things, so it's not uncommon. They are now a massive business, multi-billion-dollar business. So the idea that Dana White's not involved in, like, the minutia of it is kind of fine. It's not that big a thing for me, as long as there's somebody in place, that would be Hunter Campbell, who does do these things.
Also, Dana White has grown to a level of celebrity that he is just a face for the UFC.
That's right.
He is his own character at this point. People care about as much about him as they do the biggest stars in the UFC.
He's a top 5 UFC star.
Yeah. I mean, he's up there with, like, if you talk about, like, IG followers, he's got as much as, like, Ilia Topuria out there.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy. I think there's one or two more tweets that we wanted to go over here. He was asked, why would you be communicating with Conor McGregor on Instagram? Dana said it was more of a personal thing, but Conor did reach out to him to fight on the White House card. Dana said some other fighters hit him up on Instagram, yes. but he denies UFC business ever conducted on IG.
I would believe him on that.
Yeah, I think so too. I would imagine Dana would be like, let's
bring it in.
Let's talk about something else. Or let's go with a different means of communication. Are there any more tweets? One more. Delangelo, one of the lawyers in the proceedings, asking Dana White about signing in and out of Instagram and Access. Questions about conducting UFC business and matchmaking via Instagram. I sent this over to the boys and they'll handle it. Talking about Shelby Maynard and Hunter. I don't do that really anymore. Dana said Hunter is in charge. So kind of just reiterating what he had already mentioned, that several times over, Hunter is running the show with the help of McMahon and Sean Shelby.
And people are coming to him via Instagram, and he's just like, this
Which makes sense. I mean, makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm sure a bunch of fighters hit him up. Like, it feels like that's the best way to get in contact with him. So, yeah, it doesn't come as a surprise at all. Like we've just said, I don't think Roger Goodell is in the scheduling meeting for the NFL. I think he's much more of a overseer of the league, which Dana White has essentially become now, in addition to being a figurehead for the company.
Yeah, he's still very, in my opinion, he's still very valuable to the UFC, despite the fact that, we've kind of all acknowledged that he's not as engaged as he once was in the product. As you said, the Instagram following, the power, the proximity to power that he has with the political realm, people see him and still can identify him, and there are many fight fans who still like the idea of Dana White being involved in this, despite the fact that the business side of it is still Hunter Campbell.
One other very interesting detail that came out from these testimonies yesterday was Tracy Long, who also testified, UFC vice president and longtime UFC paralegal. In discussions about UFC 317, this came out. In the process of trying to establish that Tracy Long had more of a hands-on role with UFC fighter contractual duties than she was admitting under oath, the plaintiffs got Ms. Long to confirm text messages on the record discussing Ilia Topuria and front row management Malki Kawa. It turns out, according to Wednesday's court hearing, that there was a contractual holdup right before Ilia Topuria's fight with Charles Oliveira at UFC 317 on June 28, 2025, right up until the fight. As to what the nature of the holdup was, we do not know, but something interesting happened, and Tracy Long appears to have been in the conversation about it. Wow. We were out in Las Vegas for that card. A good card, a great card. But the crown jewel of it was Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira, and you're telling me there were contract disputes all the way up until fight time.
Yeah, and we've heard versions of this before, right? Conor McGregor is somebody who has the power and the leverage to be able to do this. This does speak to me a few things. First of all, that was courtesy of the MMA Draw, that same article that we were referencing earlier. This does speak to me about the idea of how powerful Ilia Topuria actually is within the promotion, right? Like, he is somebody that they value to a degree that, like, look, if you try it, I'm sure there have been other fighters who are like, hey, UFC, can you kick me a little extra? Like, I'm about to fight, and try to kind of do that tactic. By the way, this is not like a new tactic. We've seen this in boxing. We've seen this in MMA. It used to happen in Pride, where right before the fight, they'd be like, nah, you actually got to pay me more. And as a promoter, you're like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Like, at this point, the show has to happen, and so I need this. But it sounds like they were negotiating right up until, and fortunately, they were able to come to terms, at least agreeable for both sides, and Ilia Topuria was able to fight. It is crazy. It is wild to think that there was a world where maybe they don't come to terms, and all of a sudden, Ilia Topuria doesn't fight. But now it makes me think of Ilia Topuria in a different light, in terms of, yeah, this is a guy that like has the leverage to be able to do stuff like this, which is fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, I can't ever imagine that the UFC, unless it was just an absolutely absurd request or demand for more money, that they would allow one of their biggest pay-per-views of the year to get derailed by contract negotiations.
Well, the fact that they even let him come to Vegas, do the prep, get there, makes me think that they were probably close enough that this wasn't going to be a very difficult negotiation. Because in a realistic world, if they thought they were far apart, yeah, take a hike. You're not headlining this event anymore, right? It's that type of thing. But again, Ilia Topuria wields a lot of power, not just inside the cage, but seemingly outside.
There are going to be more proceedings today. They may have already been done. You can follow along, Fight Opinion on Twitter. That's Zach Arnold, the MMAdraw.com. They are still currently happening. I'm wondering if we're going to find out any more from that. But very interesting stuff coming out of those proceedings yesterday, Wednesday afternoon. Not as a big surprise, but it's going to be interesting to see how many MMA fans even care about this. I mean, you have a guy in Dana White who not only is getting up there talking about the fights week in and week out at these press conferences and reacting and everything, but then like Dana White Contender Series, like, is he just simply showing up to the Apex on fight night and just watching the fights and being like, all right, you're signed or you're not? There's no like prior knowledge going into the fights?
Sorry, I was just sorry. I tuned out for a second there because I'm reading some real-time updates from Zach Arnold.
Okay. What do you have?
They're back in court.
Okay.
Judge Boulware is asking basically, I need every single text message that's ever been sent from Dana's phones. They're asking, did we image every single phone that it was possible that Dana White had? And we need to have text messages. They're talking to the phone companies and trying to figure this out. So as I said, the minutia of this, the actual like tech side of this, the importance of having every single message seems to be the priority for the court, which is very fascinating because to me, you know, this obviously gives off the impression that they feel like things have been withheld. So interesting things to come. Eric Yee, Dana White's social media person, is currently the one being questioned right now.
And Hunter Campbell will be testifying next. So going to be very interesting to hear what he has to say. We'll be following along. Like I said, Fight Opinion on Twitter. Zach Arnold is giving updates. The MMAdraw.com also doing great coverage for it as well. We roll along with some other news. Speaking of Ilia Topuria, it appears that he has reached a settlement with his ex-wife, Georgina Yuzkatagui, and the case has been dismissed. This is via Marca, which appears to be a Spanish outlet. They have signed a settlement on the terms that Topuria originally offered. Ilia Topuria will return to training in his private home gym in Madrid, and he is supposedly aiming for a return at the White House. And then we get an Instagram post after this from Ilia Topuria, him training with the caption, "The champ is back." So that's seemingly confirming this news reported by Marca.
Yeah, I was skeptical that we would see Ilia Topuria anytime soon, and I was wrong. Now, I mean, it seems very obvious that he would be a headliner for the White House, right? Like, he seems like in the way that Conor McGregor, has been talked about, and obviously it would be great for them to have somebody like Conor McGregor headlining the White House card. Conor McGregor's recent comments about like my contract being null and void does make me think that the UFC has a ready-made option to go with, Ilia Topuria is back. Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje, American in the main event versus Ilia Topuria, one of our biggest stars. Like, no-brainer for the White House.
Now, you and Ariel have mentioned this a couple times. Like, is there a fear from the White House that you're putting on, USA fighters and they end up losing? Is that a bad look for America? I can't imagine putting Justin Gaethje against Ilia Topuria is a great plan. If that,
you don't like his odds?
Thinking, I think I did see odds actually that it's like -600 Topuria. Are you going to put that in the main event and have your interim champ get slimed out on international television?
If only for the reason that Ilia Topuria is a megastar. And this type of opportunity, like seemingly every big thing, like there was a time 2-3 years ago where every big opportunity, it was Alex Pereira, right? There's a fight falling off, Alex Pereira.
Yep.
Biggest card that we got coming up, Alex Pereira. Ilia Topuria seems to be sliding into that slot, right? Ilia Topuria is the one headlining International Fight Week. Ilia Topuria might be the one on this White House card. It's kind of a no-brainer for a guy who's this exciting, a knockout artist, this kind of aura, this outside the cage kind of captivity that he has fans in. It really makes all the sense in the world. And so for that reason, I think it's fine that, like, if Justin Gaethje has to be sacrificed for Ilia Topuria to be a bigger star by knocking him out at the White House, I think the UFC and the government would be okay with it.
I actually don't think that that's like a main concern of theirs. I think it
has to play in.
But I think there has to be a level of realism from the UFC to the White House to be like, bro, we don't have like any Terminators that are American right now. we'll get into that in a second. Colby Covington's still in the rankings right now, so that could be a choice for them. But like, we don't have any guys that are going to go in there and just like terminate someone. I think if they were really committed to that, then they would be looking to Jon Jones, Alex Pereira. Yeah. Whether they can depend on him or not, that would be the one that you would do. You do Jon Jones, one of the greatest of all time, American, against Alex Pereira in a very favorable matchup for him. However you feel about it, like, he would be a massive favorite against Alex Pereira. I feel like that's the way they would go. I think they would be happy with Ilia Topuria headlining the White House.
For sure. It would make this a massive event. And if you're really just looking for who are the best Americans left, there's two. It's Jon Jones and Kayla Harrison. Those are the best ones left. All due respect to Justin Gaethje, I don't think he has a chance in hell against Ilia Topuria. Actually, I guess that was pretty disrespectful, but I don't think he has a chance in hell against Ilia Topuria. Like, it just is what it is. They're at such different points in their career. The Justin Gaethje that fought Paddy Pimblett would get absolutely slept by Ilia Topuria, as would the Paddy Pimblett that fought Justin Gaethje. There's just levels to this game, and he's not at that level that Ilia Topuria is at. So if you're looking around the landscape, it's Jon Jones in a fight against Alex Pereira. Hell, in a fight even against Tom Aspinall, Ciryl Gane, you have to favor Jones at the moment, right? Especially considering what Tom is potentially facing if he were to even come back. And for the White House card, that is. That sounded more ominous than I made it seem. And then Kayla Harrison, who's injured, right? Who is going to be in a fight with Amanda Nunes, but even that's a bit of a coin flip. So I just don't think the timing and the scheduling lines up for America to come out on top in any way anyway.
I think they're just looking to stack the card. I think the fact that we are going to be almost 2 months in, I guess by the time it happens, we'll be over 2 months into the Paramount deal. We'll have had 3 numbered events, 324, 325, 326, and there will have been 1 undisputed title fight happening so far in the year. I think they are saving up to have several on that White House card.
Yeah, I predicted Jon Jones versus Alex Pereira for the White House card. Now I'm very much thinking that
it's Gaethje?
Ilia Topuria and Gaethje.
Yeah, it's Gaethje. It's not anyone else.
Could you do arm? I mean,
I think it's Gaethje. I think you give the.
Two
I don't
belts.
think you do the interim title in January and then not have him fight in July. Plus, like, he's not like a Jon Jones who can just be like, I want to fight this guy, so like I'm gonna fight him.
Yeah,
he's not at that point.
Wait, you're talking about Ilia?
Yeah, I don't. You think if he was just like,
as I said, the court proceedings made me think very differently about Ilia Topuria. Because if you can hold up the UFC on fight night and be like, yeah, pay that check, otherwise you ain't getting Ilia Topuria.
Topuria seemingly getting a lot of wins in court lately.
Ilia Topuria, man, does that guy ever lose? I don't think he's lost anything.
Sheesh. I don't know the intricacies of what happened with the past relationship. Speaking of Jon Jones, a video has come out from him at DBX5.
Come out is kind.
Yeah. Let's just be honest. This seems like this man Noah the Boa, who we're giving accreditation to this video, was wearing meta glasses. That's what it seems like. And he recorded this conversation with Jon Jones.
Bro, I want to see him go against Cormier and RAF. That's what I want to see.
Are you gonna do it?
Bro,
I have severe arthritis, and most people don't know that. My left hip is covered in arthritis.
Damn.
I actually already qualified for a hip replacement.
Oh shit.
My last training camp, dude, I went to bed in so much pain.
Well,
UFC gonna cover it though, 100%. I have a 3-year-old baby boy. Mm-hmm. I want to use what I got left with my hips. Play with his ass.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so Jon Jones has since responded to that via Michael Babcock of TMZ in what he admits was a private conversation. He says, it looks like a private conversation I had at DBX5 in Houston made its way out into the wild. It happens. Like most fighters, we deal with injuries quietly sometimes, and like in my case, for years. A lot of us walk around limping most days, paying the ultimate price for our health. If you're wondering whether it's true, it is. I'm grateful for all my battle scars, and if I could do it all over again, I absolutely would without hesitation. It's been what I wake up for in my career every single day. Even after becoming one of the most accomplished fighters in the history of the sport, my critics still give me grief about slowing down over the past few years. That's called living to fight another day, taking the lessons learned and applying them to business instead of the octagon, excuse me. It's called evolution. The UFC knows the extent of my arthritis. They also know that if I were to put it all on the line one last time and endure that level of pain, the reward would have to be something special and something more than a fat payday. For me, that was and still is the White House. Whether that fight happens or not, my career has been one for the ages and nothing short of legendary. I left a big part of myself in that octagon, and I'm grateful for every bit of it. And don't get it twisted. I'll still kick 99% of your asses out there, still putting up big numbers under the squat rack, still training, still outworking most of you, just maybe after a proper warm-up and a good stretch. God bless. See you at the... Oh, wait. No, I'm just kidding. God bless. Jon Jones. So it felt like that conversation probably never should have come out. Felt like it was the classic, like, meta glasses, didn't know it was recording. But yeah, he's originally talking about not wanting to wrestle with Daniel Cormier at RAF because of the arthritis. But it feels like after that statement, he'll do one last ride for the White House.
But what happens if he doesn't get the White House?
I don't think he'll do it. With the way that he talks, he literally says it needs to be something special and something more than a fat payday. So that knocks out UFC 332 at T-Mobile Arena, and that knocks out $30 million to fight against Tom Aspinall.
What if it was $30 million to fight against Alex Pereira, though? Is that special? Is one of the best light heavyweights of all time going up against the best heavyweight of the best fighter of all time, who happens to be a heavyweight now? He's definitely not one of the best heavyweights of all time. Is that special? Is that enough? That's the part that I still like. And I get why Jon Jones wouldn't even allude to that, right? Because why take your foot off the pedal? Why remove any pressure on the UFC in terms of putting you on that White House card? If he just comes out and is like, I'd love to fight on that White House card, but I'd fight Alex Pereira. Like, I'd fight him. Yeah. Like, then it doesn't pressure the UFC. So I understand why he'd go that direction. What I'm still interested in is, if he's not on this White House card, would Jon Jones fight again? One big fight. They could make it special, right? Like, would it be special for Jon Jones to fight in New Mexico to get the Dustin Poirier treatment? Would that be special? Like, what special means, and I think Jon was very intentional here, can always be manipulated, right? Jon could always come back and be like, well, this was special, and here's why it's special. So I don't know, but I am starting to now more doubt the idea that it's anything but White House.
I'm looking it up right now. That's not a bad shout. The New Mexico, we got several arenas in New Mexico. The Pit, shout out, holds 16,000 up to 18,000.
18 is not bad.
There it is, 18,000. Jon Jones in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Yeah. No, I think it's about the White House. I think he really wants the White House. I mean, like, that quote is crazy. I've already qualified for a hip replacement.
What about? Yeah, I mean, that quote is crazy. The fact that Jon is just like, yeah, everybody knows my hip's fucked, including the UFC, but I will go through the pain if you make it special. What about Alex Pereira or Tom Aspinall or whoever, Allegiant Stadium? Is that not big?
Oh,
is that not special?
Wow. Yeah.
All the most money you'll ever make in your life. Like, is that not...
I guess the time is ticking, though, and he's talking about how much pain he has to go through. Does he not want to just get the hip replacement? So if it isn't the White House, then it's like, all right, when is this special event going to happen?
It's a good point. It's a good point. If you're waiting for it, the hip's only getting more deteriorated. Yeah. Do we ever see Jon Jones again?
My knee jerk as soon as you asked that was no in my head. But I'm going to say yes, that the UFC does do something for him. I almost feel like they don't want to get the fans' hopes up, and they're going to come to him about potentially fighting on the White House.
I think we will see Jon Jones again.
Okay.
I don't know if it's the White House, though, but I think we will see Jon Jones again.
We will see. We will monitor the situation as we roll along. Supposedly they've already been in the war room, right? Weren't they supposed to do that last week?
Who's in the war room, though? Dana's talking about, I'm going in the war room. Are you in the war room?
Good point. Dana being like, I just don't want to have to deal with Jon Jones. You're technically not. It's technically Hunter.
It's Hunter.
And Sean Shelby. I actually have to say, the more I think about it, was David Goldenberg actually onto something with his call out at Tough Enough when he was just like, he was like, Sean Shelby, Hunter Campbell, Mick Maynard, and he was like, Dano, whatever his name is, Dana White.
Let me say for the record, definitively, he was not onto something.
I think he might have been onto something. He knew that.
On something, maybe.
3 guys.
Not onto something.
3 guys. Still private on Instagram, but I got the follow. Don't worry.
He follows you?
No. I follow him.
Oh, okay.
Nah, that would be. I could retire if David Goldenberg followed me. Shout out.
Dino, Donna.
Dana White.
The worst call out in history.
It It was bad. It was bad. All right. Do we see? Speaking of, do we see them again? Do we see Shavkat Rakhmonov again?
Yes, I fucking hope so.
God,
Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
I saw a meme someone put out, and it was like the Bad Bunny at the Oscar with his head in his hand, and it was just like 3 years from now when I log onto YouTube and the first video served up is Shavkat Rakhmonov the biggest what if in MMA history?
Shavkat Rakhmonov was special, and it's just a fucking highlight reel of everything we've already seen.
I can't have that. Well, the UFC might not be so sure. He has officially been removed from the UFC rankings. He's just not there. He's just not there anymore. You got JDM 1, Ian Gary 2, Michael Morales 3, Bilal 4, Carlos Prates 5, Brady 6, Usman 7, Leon Edwards 8, Joaquin Buckley 9, Gilbert Burns 10. There's a lot of questions to be asked about the welterweight rankings. Why is Shavkat Rakhmonov missing? Why is Colby Covington at 13? Why is Gilbert Burns at 10? I mean, there's many questions that you could ask, but the biggest one for me is why did Shavkat Rakhmonov get removed from the rankings when it's only been 14 months since he fought? I understand it's going to be a little bit longer till he fights again. Colby Covington fought a week after him. That was his last fight. He's still in the rankings at 13. Kamaru Usman went 20 months in between his fights for between his Hamzat fight and his Joaquin Buckley fight. It just feels weird to me why they would do it. It feels nonsensical unless they either think it's more serious than it is or they're trying to set up a title fight for Islam against a guy that can now be ranked higher. Because like, how does he come back into it now? Next time he fights, is he just going to be unranked?
No, because when he comes back, they will say he's eligible, and then people will rank him wherever they want.
Eligibility bullshit.
But to your point, it doesn't really make sense, right? Even if they did know he's going to be out for an extended period of time, which we know because his manager confirmed that he had surgery and he is going to be out for an extended period of time. As you said, Usman's out 20 months. Colby hasn't fought since. Like, we don't know how long Colby Covington's going to be out. So, like, do we just take him out? The idea that they individually kind of selected him. Jon Jones went out for surgery when he was in the heavyweight rankings, and he was still in the rankings. Or did they remove him? I know Chael was going on and on about it. I forget. But either way, it does feel a bit arbitrary, like why Shavkat is not allowed to remain in the rankings. It does also feel a little bit, I mean, you know, I got a lot of love for my anti-rankings thing in the MMA Beat. Thank you for anybody who watched the MMA Beat that we released on Tuesday. It's on the YouTube channel now.
Who the fuck is we?
You know, when I said that rankings were garbage and no promotion should have them and we should get rid of them and they prevent us from having fun, a lot of people on Twitter replied to me that I'm a genius, and that's not uncommon for me, but this was a particularly heavy amount of those tweets. This feels like a rankings conversation for the sake of rankings conversation. If anybody believes that Shavkat Rakhmonov is not one of the best welterweights in the world, like, you have to have your head checked. It doesn't really matter what these numbers say. They're irrelevant.
They literally are irrelevant. Gilbert Burns, I believe, is on a 4-fight losing streak, and he jumped from number 12 to number 10.
Yeah, like, who cares? Like,
he jumped Gabriel Bonfim with the removal of Shavkat Rakhmonov.
If these are what we get, if this is the result of what we get, why should anybody care? I don't care about these rankings. Shavkat Rakhmonov is one of the best welterweights on the planet.
We know it. You know it.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But yeah, it's just dumb to me. I think
you
just make a mockery of these rankings just week after week.
I think your theory about the idea of, hey, we're going to give somebody else a title shot, so let's at least have them one spot higher, that probably is the answer.
Speaking of a potential title shot at 170, Michael Morales was in an interview and had these words to say about the current champion, Islam Makhachev. I don't have respect for him, speaking about Islam. He bleeds just like me. All I want is to take the title. I'm not going to idolize someone just because everyone else admires them. He said this via Hablemos MMA. Strong words there from the welterweight contender Michael Morales, and a guy that you say has the best chance to beat Islam.
I think he has the best chance to beat Islam, and that was another take I had on the beat that everybody, you know, came out of the woodwork to tell me how smart I am. I knew this already, but I'm glad to have it.
Video,
to have it confirmed.
The YouTube video said this. The X,
but the X was important. The X is what's important, and everybody agreed.
Your mom texted you. Great takes today, honey.
I like the comments on the YouTube better than the X ones.
I
They
like
were more
the X
accurate.
ones. I like the X ones because people are coming directly to you. That feels like a personal appeal to just tell me how much I mean to them, and I appreciate that. I think Michael Morales poses the most difficult problem. All due respect to Ian Gary, and I said this, on social media. Ian Gary has done every single thing asked of him of the UFC. If he needs to fight this person, no problem. Hey, help us with this, no problem. Fight Shavkat Rakhmonov, no problem. Like, he's never been somebody who ever took the easy road, nor has he been somebody who skirted the responsibility that you have. He belongs in a title picture. If he got the next title opportunity, I'd have no issue with it. There's no doubt in my mind that he could be competing for a title. But stylistically, I don't believe that Ian Machado Gary poses a problem for Islam Makhachev. I just think his style, he doesn't have finishing capability. And now, every time he does a promo, he's going to talk about how he's going to finish the fight. And then he's not going to finish the fight. And that's fine. I never believe, I don't believe him when he says that. So it's not like I feel like I've gotten a bad bill of goods. I just kind of ignore it. It's fight promotion. But he doesn't have the finishing capability. And he's going to be in there with a guy who's probably a better striker and a better grappler. And I just don't see that there's an opportunity there. At least with Michael Morales, who I think is probably maybe a little too early in the game to be a fully finished product. Certainly he's too early in the game to be a finished product. But the power and size that he has is a different problem to solve than is, hey, you're good at fighting and I'm just a little better at fighting. Because that's the scenario that Islam Makhachev faces with every person he's going to be in there against. Everything you do, he's better at. So what are you supposed to do? There's one guy in that division, Shavkat aside, because he's not in the conversation right now, who I think does something better than Islam Makhachev. And that is that power. That is that size and ability to end fights in the way that he does. He destroyed Sean Brady. He demolished Sean Brady, who is a very, very tough welterweight, who was previously the number one contender, the guy that everybody was saying, I want to see this guy against Islam Makhachev or against Ian Machado Gary. He dismantled him to the point of being almost absurd, how badly he beat him up. I want to see that guy because I think he poses the biggest threat. Is it possibly too soon? Is it possibly that he's not a finished product and Islam's going to just be too game, too crafty, take him down, and that's it? Certainly. But I'd rather see that. I'd rather see the opportunity for that to unfold than see Ian in there.
I actually agree with you. Out of the three options, Ian Gary, Michael Morales, or Kamaru Usman, I rate Michael Morales as the best chance as well.
And I think a lot of people feel that way. We have to get over this idea that MMA is a meritocracy. It is not. Ian Machado Gary has done a little bit more. By the way, on the beat, they pushed back and were like, oh my God, Ian's the obvious contender. It's you look at the resumes of Morales and Ian Machado Gary, they're not that different. They're really not that far apart. But I think Ian is the one who has the best case for it in terms of what he's been able to do, the resume, the accomplishments. But I don't think Michael Morales is far behind, and I think he's a more interesting puzzle for Islam.
Yeah, we'll see what they do. Kamaru Usman?
And the fact that he's I don't respect you, I'm going to fucking... definitely not Kamaru Usman.
Yeah, I think it's down to...
Michael, Ian, Kamaru. Kamaru's under the table for me.
We'll see what Hunter Campbell and team end up doing as the year goes along. Another bit of news here out of the world of MMA. Asu Almabayev is out of his main event fight with Brandon Moreno at UFC Mexico City. In steps Loner Kavanagh, the 15th ranked flyweight. He was slated to fight next month.
Wait, he's 15th?
Okay, we can get into that. He's fighting the number 5 guy, former champion, big star, in his home country. He was supposed to fight number 14 Bruno Silva at the Apex next month. He is 15th. I'm not entirely sure how. He was unranked when he got knocked out by Charles Johnson, and now he finds himself in the rankings.
What the fuck? Yeah, I mean,
it's
again,
just more of an
the
indictment.
rankings.
It's just more of an indictment on the rankings. Wasn't ranked, then got knocked out, now ranked.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure how he has it. Tapology has him as number 30 in their flyweight rankings. So, I mean, unbelievable opportunity for Loner Kavanagh here. If he's able to win this fight, we will immediately forget the Charles Johnson knockout loss, and it will be, holy crap, he went into Mexico and he beat Brandon Moreno. He will find himself in the top 5 of the flyweight rankings. This is the opportunity of a lifetime for him. Incredible that he got the fight. He wasn't the only one. UFC also reached out to Kyoji Horiguchi, who's slated to fight this weekend at UFC Apex 113. He said, yeah, I'll do that, but I also want to fight my fight this weekend. Alex B. Hunan said on Twitter, UFC approached Kyoji Horiguchi to fill in for UFC Mexico. He agreed, but he wanted to fight Amir Albazi this weekend and then turn around a few weeks later. It's 3 weeks from this Saturday to fight Brandon Moreno in Mexico.
That's a flex by the Gooch right there.
That is a game Gooch.
He's like, yeah, I'll do it.
One.
Let me just mop up this dude first. And then
I'm down, dude, but let me just take care of Amir Albazi this weekend first. Shout out to Kyoji
Number
Horiguchi.
6th ranked Amir Albazi. I'm just going to go through him and then don't worry. Book me the flight.
And then I'll deal with 5 and then set me up with 4 3 weeks later. I'll go person by person all the way to the title.
The Gooch.
It's good to have him back, man.
Yeah.
The Karate Kid, who officially be going again this weekend. Shout out to him.
And Kid Yamamoto, shout out.
A hand injury forces Asuo Amabayev out. Loner Kavanaugh getting the opportunity of a lifetime. Charles Johnson, though, he wanted to weigh in, who does have that knockout win over Loner Kavanaugh. He says, I can step in. I know it's not ideal. I'm in great shape, and I am cleared by doctors post-fight. Need clearance. So he's cleared by doctors, but he needs clearance. My last performance doesn't sum up what I've been in this promotion, the most reliable man at the weight class. If possible, I'll make the weight and right the ship.
It does feel like he would have been a better option, no?
He is coming off like a pretty bad beat down by...
You got some time, though, and he's a guy who has a little bit of a more name value. Like,
well, here's the thing. If Loner Kavanaugh wins, then you have the champ and the number 5 guy both knocked out by Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson will be like 13th.
Yeah, but then you do the MMA math, and if you beat Charles Johnson, now you're the rightful champion.
Alex Perez.
Yeah, Alex Perez is
our flyweight champion.
And then Alex Perez, who's lost to...
Congrats, Alex Perez.
A bunch of guys.
Everyone.
Yeah. Disrespect. But yeah, I don't know. I felt like a guy like Charles Johnson probably should have gotten that spot.
I'm actually going to be totally honest with you. I don't think it matters. It's Brandon Moreno in Mexico.
Oh, you're like, this is foregone conclusion?
No, not a foregone conclusion. They don't need a name.
Oh, they don't need a name to fill in. That's fair. That's fair.
They just need a...
They just need a body.
Yeah, Brandon.
It's not like Asu Almabayev was like, oh my God, I can't wait.
I don't think there were hordes of people heading to CDMX to see Asu Almabayev.
Yeah.
We're here in La Ciudad for Asu.
You're like, oh my God, this is such a great event. I can't believe we're here. Asu's fighting in the main event. And then they're like, yeah, Brandon Moreno. You're like, no, I'm here for...
I can hear it now, John Anik. And though we're in Mexico, you'd expect the tree colors, green, white, and red. No, this is a stadium adorned with sky blue and suns. And it's just, they show the crowd and it's just covered in Kazakhstani flags. They're all here for the number 7 ranked flyweight, Asu Almabayev.
It was a good fight, though. It sucks. Yeah. And I hope he has a speedy recovery.
All right, let's go over to the world of boxing. That's the news and notes in MMA. A lot of news in the world of boxing as well. We start with Shakur Stevenson being stripped of his WBC lightweight title just days after winning the ring and WBO junior welterweight titles. He last defended this title in July. And he had this to say on Twitter. $100K to some crooks who don't deserve it? Nah, Leilani, I'd rather give it to you, baby girl. The WBC didn't even have shit to do with this fight, and it's eating them alive. Take your belt. It don't make me. And I just paid these dudes after my last fight. What the hell? I'm giving y'all $100K right now for. Because y'all got beef with Bud, so come at me for it? Obviously.
It's tough.
It is tough, Terrence. We know about Terrence Crawford's 4-minute dialogue in the car a few months ago.
I see them, though.
No, that's a different one. That's when he's showing off the belts.
Yeah, that's all of that towards Mauricio Suleiman, who we had in studio this week, who he was angry. I think he had to pay, what was it, like $300K?
I think it was 300, yeah, or 350 or something.
So this payment to retain these belts and these titles, Shakur Stevenson and Terrence Crawford are not having it. The WBC did make a statement. In light of champion Shakur Stevenson now being the reigning WBO super lightweight world champion and consistent with the WBC rules and regulations, the WBC has declared vacant its lightweight world title. The WBC will provide further information regarding the process to crown a new lightweight champion in the near future. So they're taking his belt away, and both him and Terrence Crawford do not seem to care at all.
No. And they could not be doing any more of a favor to Zuffa Boxing than this. Like, this would be the time if you are a sanctioning body, to make sure that you maintain the best possible champions you can have. And the idea of, hey, you're not paying your fees, so we don't want Shakur Stevenson to be our champion is a catastrophic error, in my opinion, because these are the champions that people look to. Shakur Stevenson, Terence Crawford, these are the guys that other fighters look to as the best in the sport, the best in their weight classes. And so if Shakur Stevenson and Terence Crawford are coming out and being like, nah, fuck these belts. Fuck your belt specifically. Fuck this belt too. I don't need it. It's going to push people toward the Zuffa boxing model. Now, I don't know that Zuffa is going to be able to capitalize on everybody that like kind of has an interest in that, just based on the sheer volume of boxers that it could potentially impact. But the idea of the sanctioning bodies have created this mess of there's 4 different belts and nobody knows who's going to get what opportunity. When am I ever going to have a chance to unify? The mess that boxing has been, and why for so long everybody's been like, there's too many belts, nobody fights anybody. They're now furthering the damage that was done during that time. It seemed like boxing was kind of evening out. It felt like there was a period where it was like, no, we are getting the fights that we want. People are unifying belts. Oh my God, this is great. Somebody like Shakur Stevenson to be like, I'm throwing your belt in the garbage because I don't want to have the sanctioning fees is a real problem.
And it's damning to the belt to have stars like Shakur Stevenson and Terence Crawford being like, I don't give a shit about your belt. Like we had Shushu Carrington on this week in studio, and he's like, man, I got the green belt. That's the one that I wanted. This means so much to me. Like, he's crying after the fights and everything like that. He's so proud to get it. But then on the other end of that, you have Shakur Stevenson, who is just like, I don't give a fuck about the belt. I'm not paying for that. Why would I want that? This is Terence Crawford's statement on it. He says, WBC, ain't no way y'all still this mad. It's cool, bro. The ring belt was free, which is another just indictment towards the WBC. Like you're having the biggest stars in the game being like, I don't give a fuck about the WBC.
I want to be fair to the WBC here in terms of they are not the only ones, right? All these different bodies, there are different stipulations, there are sanctioning fees, there are all kinds of things because they have to be able to run the business. It's not a specific WBC issue, but the WBC is obviously in the forefront of this, vocal, releasing statements, taking the belt away from Shakur Stevenson, and the one that Terence Crawford was referencing when he was talking about the fee that he did not want to pay. So it's not a WBC issue in a vacuum, but they are the ones who are taking the heat in terms of this. But yeah, for me, the sanctioning bodies need to be playing the nicest that they've ever played with the athletes right now, because I think Zuffa boxing is coming for that. This system where, hey, we've got a belt and you either have it or you don't, is going to be very appealing to some people. Don't make it easier if you're these sanctioning bodies for somebody to look at it and go, yeah, why do I want to work my entire life to get that belt only for you to charge me too much money and I want to throw it in the garbage? Like, this is the story that I don't think they want out there. And Shakur Stevenson is too big a star for you to have this happen.
And it's one of the biggest benefits of the UFC is the organization of champions. There's one belt, you get it, you're the champion or you're not. I mean, yeah, no one actually recognizes BMF and NRM as real champions. There is one UFC Gold undisputed champion. You either have it or you don't. And all the athletes within the organization and other MMA organizations treat that with a respect. Like you see Jean Silva crying over the belt. Like all of these people are just coming for that belt. You don't have people being like, there are people that come out and are just like, I don't give a damn about a BMF belt. I don't need that. I don't need that belt. You're not going to hear athletes saying that about actual UFC Gold.
Yeah, and they're not charged a fee to be a holder of the belt. That's a major thing, right? Terence Crawford is on the heels of the biggest payday of his life, and they're like, yeah, we gotta collect our money now. And he's just like, y'all see them though. I got this belt, this belt, this belt, this belt. They're in my case. I don't need this. Here, you can take it. It's a bad look at a time that I don't think they can afford to have a bad look.
Some more news and what seems to be a weekly occurrence on the show here. Gervonta Davis has been issued another arrest warrant just 1 week after he was arrested in Miami on charges of battery, false imprisonment, and attempted kidnapping. A Baltimore Circuit Judge, Althea M. Handy, has issued a warrant for his arrest on Monday following accusations that the former champion boxer violated his probation. The first to report that story was ESPN. You can read the article here by Darshan Desai on uncrown.com. So yeah, more legal issues for Gervonta Davis.
Yeah, time to get the life in order. Like, boxing doesn't even matter at this point.
More court cases. Floyd Mayweather is suing Showtime Sports and former Showtime Sports president Steven Espinoza. Again, Darshan Desai, the man who never stops working, over at Uncrowned, has a full article. But Mayweather is alleging aiding and abetting breach of fiduciary duty, civil conspiracy to commit fraud, conversion, and unjust enrichment. He is seeking at least $340 million in misappropriated funds and punitive damages. The suit claims that revenue which should have been distributed to Mayweather was instead sent to his then advisor, Al Heyman. Mayweather says his new management team requested to view Showtime's financial records, but were told those records were lost in a flood deemed inaccessible.
Yeah, like a lost cell phone, you know? You just lose certain things and all of a sudden they're gone.
They're gone. Yeah, I mean, this is... Showtime is no longer a thing. It was disbanded, I believe, in 2023. And Steven Espinoza obviously is no longer the president there.
Yeah. The most interesting part of this to me is the fact that the money, what Mayweather is alleging is the money was stolen, taken from him by Al Heyman. The lawsuit is against Steven Espinoza and Showtime for facilitating it.
Al Heyman is not listed as a defendant in this case.
And I don't think that's very obviously not an accident, but my understanding of, first, Al Heyman's been a very sharp and shadowy business figure in the boxing world for a very long time. I have to imagine that he has some legal protection that would prevent him from being sued for this. I have to imagine that there's contracts or there's something that he could provide that would prevent Floyd Mayweather from getting that money from him. So Floyd and his team are trying to find a little backdoor into a little loophole to find a way to recover that money by saying that Showtime and Steven Espinoza abetted in taking the money. It's going to be interesting to see where this goes.
I mean, he did 9 pay-per-views with Showtime Sports, 2 of them being Manny Pacquiao and Conor McGregor, the 2 most watched, most purchased pay-per-views in boxing history, generating over 15 million pay-per-view buys throughout his 9-fight career with Showtime. So there was a lot of money to be had for Money Mayweather during his time with Showtime.
He was counting up his money, and he's like, yo, I'm 340 million short. Where's that money at?
Ow! Al, where's that money, man?
He definitely did not call Al.
I did want to read one statement that I don't know, I just kind of found sort of funny. His attorney, Bobby Samini, told TMZ Sports, Mayweather generated hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue for Showtime. Mr. Mayweather now takes this fight to the courtroom to recover what he rightfully earned. Remember, he retired at 50-0, undefeated, and he's going to go the distance in the courtroom just as he did in the ring. Thanks, Bobby. Appreciate that, man.
Fucking hell.
Appreciate that.
That's the most I'm going to talk boxing here. Pay attention to me talking boxing here. I'm a lawyer.
Still calling out that he goes the distance in most
fights.
I
don't think the terminology. I don't think he meant to go in the distance. But shout out.
We continue along. Deontay Wilder and Derek Chisora have been on a media tour. I'm sure you've seen the face-to-face here on our channel that Ariel did on Monday afternoon, released on Wednesday. A fantastic job. Really showed the levels of production. Shout out to the whole team. It's beautifully shot. A great sit-down face-to-face for them. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. But they continued that media tour and sat down with TalkSport. Simon Jordan and Deontay Wilder and him did not seem to agree on what they were talking about. Take a watch.
I wanted to move you on to Tyson Fury.
I don't want to talk about him.
No, you're going to.
We're here about
No, but you're going to.
We're not going to talk about him. We're not going to talk about him at all. Understand that?
No, fair enough.
All right, then. So let's move on. It's all about Derek Chisora, and that's it.
I understand that. You've called him a cheat. and it leads me
the biggest in boxing.
That's a little bit flaky. You lost those fights, and those fights were lost. Kind of disappointing to me
You can say
about
what you
because
want. I know the truth. I have the facts.
Okay.
Understand that. I risk my life for you's entertainment to see.
No, absolutely.
So why I ain't never lied about none in this business. Why is it so hard to believe a black man than a white man? Understand me? Why is it so hard to believe a black man than a white man?
Why
you don't believe it? Why is it?
First and foremost, it's got nothing to do with color.
No, it does.
No, it does.
This whole country got some. This whole world got something to do with race. You think your life has been like mine?
Listen,
come on, you got white privilege, brother.
Oh, don't start.
I ain't never had that.
Don't start
I'm a black man with dark skin. Ain't nothing ever been given to me. We done been through so much.
Okay.
So much.
Say, you wanted to move on, right?
Come on, man. Try to give you a vision, a little insight of what we go through as black people, man.
I got it.
You don't get it.
Well, okay.
None of y'all get it.
Where do you want me to go?
Y'all don't get it. That's the problem. You think you get what you don't understand.
Okay.
Why is it so hard? Man, let me get the out of here, bro. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Talking about my peoples and all that shit. It's hard to believe a black man than a white man. The cheated. Tell him to sue me so I can show the facts early. Because when the documentary and everything, the story come out, I'm going to show everything.
Fantastic.
I'm going to get all the people that know and all the people that's in the inside. He got people that the inside of him. That know. I don't about that. I said we didn't want to bring him up in the first place. It ain't got shit to do with him.
Fair enough.
The you talking about?
Yeah, man. You, man. I'm out too.
What happened there wasn't right.
He told you don't bring it up, but you
come on.
The best part of the whole thing is Deontay Wilder storms out, and then at the end, Derek Chisora is like, "Yeah, fuck you, man. I'm out of here too."
Yeah, like you could tell he didn't really even like want to do that, but he was just like, "Yeah, all right, it's over." Like,
yeah, I guess I'm gone. I gotta just walk out of here as well.
Some real animosity still from Deontay Wilder toward Tyson Fury, who he believes cheated.
And that's not the first time we've heard him banging that drum throughout the course of this media tour. And he keeps calling for Tyson Fury to sue him so he can bring out everything, all the facts and the evidence that he has.
Well, that clip was edited. There's a version where Simon continues to talk about it, and what happens is he brings up Tyson Fury. Deontay's like, "We're not talking about him." And then he's like, all right. Like he basically spends like 2 minutes to like try and calm him down. And then he goes, all right, Deontay. Well, the reason I brought it up was actually because, well, you made an excuse about the ring attire that you wore to the ring was being too heavy. You made an excuse about the loaded gloves. You made like he spent 2 minutes like calming it down just to then re-anger him.
He's like, oh, you're flaking. That feels low of you to accuse the cheating and everything like that.
Which is, then we cut to that scene where it's like, man, I'm fucking out of here. Like, Simon Jordan is a master troll. I respect the game.
Yeah, Deontay Wilder losing his patience, man. I mean, it clearly is deep under his skin all these years later.
Well, he feels like it was unearned. He feels like he was wronged by Tyson Fury.
Tyson Fury took to Instagram and responded to Deontay Wilder's comments.
I'm just sat here thinking about all the stuff that Deontay Wilder's been saying recently. And even me, I got sort of dragged into posting stuff, video me knocking him out and whatever. I've just deleted it actually off my story because rather than retaliating and hate on somebody, this man really does have mental health issues, it's evident to see. And rather than just go back and forward with him and yada, 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 saying he's deluded and all that, I'm just going to pray for him and I'm going to ask God to help him. He obviously needs the help, and yeah, I'm not getting involved in pettiness. The fights were won fair and square, and that's it. I'm going to pray for him, and I'm going to ask the Father to bring him back to the light, because this man is lost soul, and I beg Jesus to return him to the kingdom.
I do love the Tyson Fury, like I'm going to pray for and everything like that. When hours ago he had posted like videos of him knocking him out and was like, get this tosser out of here.
He had an enlightenment where he realized like I need to help him, or Jesus needs to help him, instead of continuing to go back and forth with him. What do you make of what he said though about like him needing, help and these things? Do you think that this is the sign of something? Like,
I mean, I don't react. I can't speak on it. Like, I don't know if it really matters this much to Deontay Wilder. And we saw them be friendly with each other, especially over in Saudi Arabia for some of these fights. They've been cordial and friendly, so the animosity wasn't there then. To have these reactions throughout the week, man, like to where you are screaming and storming off of interview sets. I don't know if you need to go to a mental institution or anything like that, but like. It feels like he needs to combat these demons when it comes to the Tyson Fury fight.
Yeah, and it to me, I don't think it's a sign of much of anything. He sat here. We were standing next to him. He seems actually in a good place. He seems to like kind of like have his life in an order that it might not have been previously. To me, it just feels like Tyson Fury is very much a hot button issue for him.
Yeah, I think if we had brought up Tyson Fury to him when we were sitting there, he would have been like, man, fuck y'all.
100%. And he feels like he was wronged. And so when somebody is trying to like ask him about it as if it was fair, I think that triggers him. Sir, I don't know whether, it's up to you to decide whether you think that's the appropriate reaction or not, but it does seem like it's very specific to this Tyson Fury thing. And he continues to talk about like, hey, I have the proof. So whatever that proof may be, I hope that we one day see at least his side of what he's talking about.
I suppose I'm just not sure why Tyson Fury has to sue him first before he can release that.
Yeah, I don't know. But he said there's a documentary. So maybe in the course of that,
we will see. In that fight, Derek Chisora versus Deontay Wilder will be taking place
April 4th.
April 4th on a Misfits Pro Boxing card over in the UK. So we look forward to that one. Speaking of the UK, speaking of boxing, one last bit of note: Jake Paul and MVP are heading across the pond for their first show in the UK on Sky Sports, which is another massive part of this deal. As you can see, Sunday, April 5th, Olympia, London, MVP bringing a stacked night of world title fights to the UK for the first time. 4 women's title fights: Caroline Dubois versus Terry Harper for the unified lightweight world championship. Ellie Scottney versus Mayeli Flores, undisputed super bantamweight. Chantel Cameron, massive name to be 3 fights down. Michaela Kotaskova, WBO Junior Middleweight World Championship, and then Irma Garcia versus Emma Dolan in the IBF Super Flyweight World Championship. So Jake Paul injured in the Anthony Joshua fight. Don't think the fight business is going to stop for him at all.
Yeah, MVP has definitely assembled quite an impressive women's roster, and is putting on a massive fight. One day after the Chisora and Wilder card in London. So back-to-back kind of big boxing events there.
Yeah, big weekend of boxing for the UK. Going to be really interesting to see, and it's always cool when they do an all-women's card, especially with that big of names and that many title fights taking place on it. So credit to MVP. And the Sky Sports deal is nothing to scoff at, man. They've been working with DAZN, Netflix, Sky Sports. They're gathering their infinity stones when it comes to broadcast deals.
Yeah, and Ariel's been long talking about this. When it comes to American based promotions, MVP is really like one of the remaining ones that is growing and succeeding, right? Top Rank, as we saw on Saturday, has a fantastic stable of fighters, right? You see Keyshawn Davis, you see Shushu Carrington, you see Shakur Stevenson, even Teofimo Lopez, and you're like, wow, Top Rank has developed a ton of talent here, but they are still without a broadcast deal. They're sitting out there in the wind and still waiting for a broadcast home, whereas MVP is like, okay, now we got to deal with Sky Sports. We have regular events with Netflix, DAZN. Like, man, they're a small promotion, a startup promotion, right? They kind of started alongside when Jake Paul started his boxing career, but they're making headway fast, and they have a lot of very powerful relationships.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go from here. Let's get into this weekend. That was the news and notes from both the world of MMA and boxing. Let's get into this weekend. UFC Apex 113 going down. We already talked about Knucklemania 6. There's also PFL Road to Dubai, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I have to say, for the first Apex show of the year, it's not a bad card. It's not a bad card. Headlined by Mario Bautista versus Lockdog Vinicius Oliveira.
Is it a good card?
It's not. It's a good Apex card. It's a good Apex card. Alex Morono on the card versus Daniil Danchenko. Probably going to get knocked out, but we'll see. Nico Price on the card. Bruno Brasil, fighting nerd on the card. Said Nurmagomedov versus Javid Basharat, buried on the prelims. Kong Wang? Come on. Kong Wang on Eduardo Mora? Actually,
she's coming for Valentina.
If I'm not mistaken.
Run starts now.
If I'm not mistaken, I just said Said versus Javid Basharat. I think
it's the other.
No, I think. Yep.
Canceled?
Yeah, Javid Basharat will now fight Gianni Vasquez. Sorry. Said,
it's tough.
Yeah, Said no longer fighting.
All right, keep going.
Jacob Wilklatz?
The one who beat Patchy Mix?
Yep. Taking on Muin Gaforov? This is just the prelims, bro.
All right.
This is just what you're starting out with. Let's get to the main card. We'll go through that, and then I think
let's break it down. Let's break it down.
Mario Bautista versus Vinicius Oliveira. First fight back for Mario since the loss to Umar Nurmagomedov. Lockdog 4-0 so far in the UFC. This is his toughest test, man. An opportunity to spring into the top 10 against the guy who maybe not the biggest name in the sport, Mario Bautista, doesn't have the biggest fan base, but one of the most skilled fighters at 135.
This is a massive step up.
Yeah,
Kyler Phillips is a very good fighter, and that's a fun fight that Lockdog had. this is a different level.
Honestly, Kyler Phillips, Saeed Nurmagomedov, Ricky Simone are all good fighters. Those are all good wins for Lockdog. This is a real step up.
Great wins, but not great fighters is how I'd put that, right? Those are very, very good fighters. I think Mario Bautista is a great fighter. I think Mario Bautista, like, and you even see that in the fight against Umar Nurmagomedov, like where you see flashes, where you see like, man, on the right night, this guy really can be something. And against the best of the best, he never looks out of place, right? He never looks like, oh, I don't belong in there with them. This is a great fighter. And I think this is an opportunity for Lockdog to prove that he belongs in this class. And God damn it, I can't lie, I'm a Lockdog stan. Like, this is probably my favorite fighter going right now. I just fucking love the guy. And his combination of just like athleticism and explosiveness, power, all the things that you want from the fighter, combined with just his kind of like laissez-faire nature in the cage, like almost feeling like he's not in danger at any point, kind of playful showman, the borderline on disrespectful to the fact that he never feels like he's kind of in trouble. I just love everything about him. He talks that good shit on social media. I'm a Lockdog stan. I'm not ashamed to admit it, and I think he's going to win this fight because I think he is a championship caliber fighter.
Love Lockdog. Talking the shit online is neither here nor there. The chill stuff.
You don't care about that?
No. It's good. I'm saying, is he great at it?
I think it's funny.
10-8 on that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm going 10-8.
All right.
I'm not siding with Lockdog on that one. Yeah, I mean, the thing with this fight is that Lockdog, I know he's won his last 3 fights by decision, but 18 of his 23 wins are by finish. Like, he is a finish-reliant guy. We're also going to see him at the UFC level for the first time attempt to go 25 minutes with a guy in Mario Bautista that we know has the cardio for that. I'm not 100% certain Lockdog does have the cardio to go the 25 minutes. So I think there's a world, if he can't punish Mario Bautista, that in those championship rounds, Mario Bautista is able to put it on him. Also, 3 losses for Lockdog in his career. He's been knocked out in all of them. I wouldn't be shocked if come round 4, come round 5, Mario Bautista is putting it on him and able to get Lockdog out of there. I think it's a fantastic fight. I don't know who's going to win. If I had to pick a winner, I'm still going to lean Lockdog just because I am a fan of his. But it's a tremendous fight that I'm really interested to see how Lockdog deals with the massive step up and the step up to 5 championship rounds.
Yeah, it's a very valid concern, right? Moving from 3 rounds to 5 rounds is a massive thing, especially against a guy like Bautista who's been in there and has the cardio that we know is going to last those rounds, and he's going to be there, right? If the bell rings to start round 4, the assumption is between the two that Mario Bautista is going to be the guy who's going to be fresher because he's able to do that. I think Lockdog is going to be very difficult for Mario Bautista to kind of just like pin down. I think it's going to be difficult for Mario to do what he normally does against everybody else to Lockdog because of that like freakish athleticism and the explosion that he has. I mean, there was times where he was just nuking Kyler Phillips. The fact that he was able to like withstand that punishment is more to me a credit to Kyler Phillips than it was the fact that like Lockdog can't finish the fight. And I do think he's going to have Mario Bautista in trouble quite a few times in this fight.
Final pick, Lockdog. I'll go Lockdog as well, but not quite as confident. I think it's going to be a fantastic fight. I'm really very much looking forward to it. A chance for Mario Bautista to get back on track. A chance for Lockdog to ascend into the higher ranks at 135. Let's go co-main event. Flyweight fight, Amir Albazi taking on Kyoji Horiguchi. I have to say, man, I was watching some YouTube, looking on Kyoji's
shit
on his social media and everything. What?
You went back into the Kyoji archives.
Well, I mean, I love Kyoji Horiguchi. I learned about him back in the Bellator days, and then watched some of his older fights. Obviously, like the one loss being in recent times at the UFC level to Demetrius Johnson, nothing to shy away from. But like, there's just something about these guys that get in UFC title contention from Japan, and they just become superstars. He posted that UFC Japan YouTube channel, posted his full fight with Tagir Ulanbekov. They posted it yesterday. They have like 175K subscribers. The video already has like 500,000 views. So like people are turned on for this guy. Plus I just like his just like jovial attitude, just like how hyped up he is. The UFC offering him to fight against Brandon Moreno, and he's like, yeah, I'll fight him. Only if you let me fight Amir Albazi this weekend as well. Like I need to get those 2 fights. Like Kyoji Horiguchi might be one of the fighters I'm most excited for to make like a quick run at the title. And the way that he looked against Tagir Ulanbekov, I think he's going to have a similar performance against Amir Albazi. Albazi, last time out against Brandon Moreno, got beat pillar to post, man. Like, he got beat down, and I rate Kyoji Horiguchi on that level.
Flashback to April of 2022, Patchy Mix beating Kyoji Horiguchi at Bellator 279, and now Patchy's the one in Ryzen, and Kyoji's the one on the door of a title shot if he wins here.
Insane.
Ridiculous. Yeah, man, Kyoji Horiguchi is the real deal. Look, there is a point where we're getting up there in age, right? He's 35 years old. Not an old man by any means, but like MMA miles are a lot, and he has a lot of fights. See, this is his 41st fight, right? He's already got 40 fights in MMA. He's also taken like kickboxing fights, I believe, and other things as well. So the man's been around a very long time and has fought the who's who of the lighter weight classes. There's a point where that kind of, takes its toll, but I still believe he's good. I mean, we saw in the last performance, right? Like, he was clinical in the dissection. And so, yeah, until proven otherwise, I do think this is a level above with Kyoji Horiguchi.
Amir Albazi also has only fought twice, I believe, since 2022. One being the Kai Kara France fight that I scored for Kai Kara France, and then obviously the Brandon Moreno last time out. So it feels like when Amir takes on this higher level of competition at 125, he struggles. I know he got the nod in the KKF fight, but I did score that for Kai Kara.
It was controversial.
Yeah. I think Horiguchi is at that level, and I think he's going to give Amir...
Oh, I think he's beyond that level.
But beyond the KKF, though?
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, no love for no
No,
blink.
just respectfully, but like...
No love for no blink.
I think he's a level above that.
You're talking no love, but we're not talking Cody Garbrandt.
That's correct. I think he's a level above that as well.
Don't blink.
Yeah.
Let's roll along. Jailton Almeida versus Rizvan Kunyev. Last time Kunyev out, lost a split decision to Curtis Blades. Jailton Almeida also losing a split decision to Alexander Volkov. It feels like the game plan from Jailton Almeida is probably...
Tell me what the game plan is.
I'm thinking it feels like it's probably going to be to take Kunyev down. Feels like he's going to rely on that wrestling.
I don't know about that. I think he's going to stand and bang.
Do we think?
No, absolutely not.
It's time for him to win some fans?
No, he is going to take him down, and he's going to win. Look, Jalton, people have fucking parachuted off the Jailton Almeida bandwagon. Like, it is...
I saw some people being like, please, Rizvan Kunyev, save us, Rizvan Kunyev, knock this fucker out. People hate Jailton Almeida.
He was a darling. I mean, you were early on the.
I still
Jailton.
like him. I'm betting on him this week. I think he's going to take him down and finish him.
Yeah, and finish him. I don't know.
Okay, all right. This is another thing. This change of course into he's this decision machine. He has 26 professional mixed martial arts bouts. 3 have gone to a decision. In his career, he has 16 first-round finishes.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. Honestly, before the Volkov fight, first-round finish, got finished in the second round, the Derek Lewis decision, then it was first-round finish, second-round finish,
Derek Lewis decision stands out.
But we're talking about first-round finish, second-round finish, first-round finish, first-round finish, first-round finish, first-round finish, second-round finish. Like, the dude can finish fights. It's just...
Sometimes.
Derek Lewis... honestly, the sometimes comes from Volkov and Derek Lewis.
The sometimes from me is more on the Jailton side of things.
Because when he does go to decision, it's so boring.
No, not that it's so boring. It's so obvious if he took a little bit of risk that he could finish. That's my problem. Against Alexander Volkov, Volkov did his best on defense. The problem in that fight was that Jailton Almeida didn't take any risks to finish that fight, which ended up costing him. He loses the split decision. If he took some risks, I'm very confident he actually could have finished Volkov.
For sure. I mean, we're talking about he finishes people sometime. Almeida, 21 of 22 wins via stoppage.
Brother, all I'm saying is, in his last fight,
yes,
he had opportunities where if he took a little bit of risk, he would have actually been able to finish the fight instead of losing the fight.
Correct, I agree.
If he shows up again and
doesn't want to take risks,
there's a chance he's just laying on him again.
Or he gets nuked. He could get nuked.
That I think is less likely, but possible, right? Look,
strike.
That's the part that I'm not concerned about with Jailton Almeida. He's been in there with power punchers. Like, I'm not concerned that like Jailton Almeida is like no longer a good fighter. Jailton Almeida is a very good fighter. The people who hopped off the bandwagon are hopping off for style, not for like capability. But I'm not 100% sure that Jailton Almeida, when he's in dominant positions, is always so willing to do that. That's my only fear. I think he's going to win this fight. And I think you're right that there's a chance he finishes. But it seems like the Derek Lewis performance was another one, exactly like the Volkov one, where he just did not want to seemingly finish the fight.
Yep.
And so that happens every so often, and I'm not sure I trust like the idea that like Jailton Almeida is always looking for that. Sometimes it's position and position only. That's my only fear is like, from a finishing upside, that's my only concern. I do think he will get it to the ground, and I do think he will be in very, very good position. And sometimes when he's raining punches down on people, that can be enough. But sometimes he's pitter-pattering or just re-securing the position and not going after the submissions that he could execute in his sleep. That's my only concern with Jailton. I think Jailton is still very good. I think Jailton is somebody who could potentially compete for a title if he puts it all together. But I have concerns about like that inactivity in the moments where he's dominant.
Let's roll it along. Final prediction on that one is Jailton.
Jailton Almeida.
Mikhail Oleksiejczuk taking on Power Bar Marc-Andre Barriault. Can I just get a prediction from you on what you think the line is here?
Mikhail's a favorite.
Correct.
Minus 170?
Mikhail minus 500. Power Bar plus 375.
Yeah, that feels off for sure. Mikhail has shown himself to be vulnerable and not exactly like, you know, the safe, like in the way that I'm criticizing Jailton Almeida for sometimes fighting safe, you know that Oleksiejczuk is not that guy. He is not going to come in there and just kind of play it safe, and it has cost him at times. I'm a little surprised by that, just by the power that Andre Barriault carries, right?
There is an argument to be made. Andre Barriault is 1-4 in his last 5. He's 6-9
for sure.
In the UFC. Oleksiejczuk is going to pressure him. He's going to throw massive overhands, massive hooks until he knocks him out, if he is able to do that. And we have seen Power Bar later in his career, the Joe Pyfer fight, the Dustin Stoltzfus fight, get knocked out himself.
We should point out, though, the losses in this streak are a split decision against Chris Curtis. Pyfer, who has nuclear power, who nuked him. Fair enough. Stoltzfus, that one, not, again, Stoltzfus has some really decent power too, but that one's probably the biggest blemish. And then against Shara, he lost the unanimous decision, but there were moments in there where it was dicey for Shara. There were moments in there where where Barriault, and he's very good at this, when he's rocked, he throws caution to the wind, right? I mean, he always kind of throws caution to the wind, but when he's rocked, he's still in the fight and he's throwing back and he's willing to go out on his shield, which is, you know, dangerous, but also a benefit. And so, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know the idea that, like, Oleksiejczuk just steamrolls him with no danger. Like, that line feels off, although I definitely am favoring Oleksiejczuk and will pick him.
I am with you. I'm picking Oleksiejczuk, but not with the same confidence.
Minus 500 is nutty for a guy who we've seen kind of just, like, sometimes pull defeat from the jaws of victory.
Man, just going through MAB's resume, remember Jordan Wright? Beverly
Hills Ninja? Yeah.
Legend, man. Talk about an unders guy. That guy went to a lot of unders. that guy was here for a good time, not a long time. I'm now somehow on his Instagram. Looks like he linked up with Bruce Buffer recently. So shout out to him.
I mean, a loss to Fluffy Hernandez, like these are fine, you know? Like his losses are not bad losses by any means.
Let's keep rolling along. Gene Matsumoto taking on Farid Basharat. One of the 2 Basharat brothers fighting on this card, unfortunately. Javid will no longer be fighting against Saeed. Matsumoto coming off a win, split decision win. Before that, a split decision loss to Rob Font. Farid still rolling along, 14-0. We'll be curious to see if he makes it 15-0 on Saturday.
Yeah, been impressed. I think this is his fight to lose.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a rightful favorite for a reason. He's shown that he's dynamic striker, can mix in the ground game. Gene Matsumoto obviously nasty as well, 17-1, but it feels like when he took the step up to Rob Font, he faltered. I feel like the same will happen to him against Farid.
And is that more Farid is on the level of like a Rob Font at this point, or is it more that you just
until he loses and he keeps eating these guys up? Like I'm down to see him make that ascension into the rankings of 135.
I'm surprised he's not climbing higher. You know, like I'm surprised that there isn't a more significant fight, but fair enough.
I mean, the last time out was Chris Gutierrez, and like he's staying fairly active.
Well, do you feel like Gene Matsumoto is like a step up from Chris Gutierrez? I feel like Chris
he's right there. I feel like he's like on.
That's
that
what I'm
same
saying.
level.
I'm thinking like, what's the next level I'd like to see him go to?
Get him in the rankings.
Yeah,
get him against someone.
Maybe
ranked.
after this one, like ranked opponent is next.
I mean, Chris Gutierrez was close. He was ranked for a while.
That's my point.
Not rankings anymore.
This almost feels equal or even a step back in terms of notoriety, in terms of stature. Like also just. Chris Gutierrez is a fucking dog. Like that's a tough fight for anybody. And so like this guy's fought the who's who. And so I don't know. I think this will be a good fight for Farid. I think he'll be able to show out. But I'm surprised he's not taking like even a little bit more of a step up.
Your boy, the Hanyak, is back. Dustin
Shout out, my
taking
guy,
on
Dustin.
Julius, the Juice Box Walker, one of the best nicknames.
It's a good nickname.
In the UFC. This just feels like a firefight to me.
100%.
This feels like someone is likely going to get caught. Probably just going to be a kickboxing match until someone does.
Yeah, we've seen Dustin's chin. Like he can hang in those types of firefights against some of the most dangerous, like powerful strikers in the world. He is 37 years old though, right? And there, as I said, like I was talking about Horiguchi being only 35, and I'm already thinking, you know, there's a lot of miles on that. Dustin's been fighting MMA and kickboxing for a very long time against some extremely tough guys. You know, Julius is 26 years old. Like this is a massive age gap. This is a 10, 11 year age gap. There might be a point where it's just like Dustin can't be in these wars anymore. I want to see it, but for now I lean toward Dustin, but I wouldn't be surprised if he finally starts losing firefights.
Yeah, I was going to say 37 years old and has 31 professional MMA fights, and then who knows how many professional kickboxing fights beyond that. That's the main card of UFC Apex 113. Kicks off at 5 p.m. So interesting, we go from 4 p.m. starts for the Apex card to now 5 p.m. starts. The pay-per-view gets an hour earlier. The Apex card gets an hour earlier.
We'll see. Who's to check?
Solid.
Who's to check?
Solid main card. We already listed off some of the prelims that I'm looking forward to. But that's not the only fighting. Going down on Saturday in the morning, we will get PFL Road to Dubai. That card starts at 9 a.m. Eastern here in the States. The two that I'm most looking forward to has to be obviously the main event and the co-main event. You're getting two titles, the vacant welterweight championship and then the PFL lightweight championship. We'll start there. Usman Nurmagomedov taking on Alfie Davis. Alfie Davis, the man, the Axeman, the man that originated the tattoo. He had an upset so good when he beat Gadzi Rabadanov back in August to win the tournament championship, plus 705 underdog in this one. He now finds himself around the same price tag against Usman Nurmagomedov. Can he shock the world twice in a row?
No.
Yeah, I agree.
No. All due respect to the most legendary tattoo we've ever seen, Usman's just a different level. Usman is one of the best on the planet, and I don't know if Alfie is on that level. You know, as you talked about, huge upsets. Like he has been extremely game in some very tough spots where it looked like, you know, he's up against it. Usman is a level above, in my opinion. And that's respectful to everybody other than Paul Hughes in this division. I don't think they're on that level.
I'm with you. I think as long as Usman Nurmagomedov remains in the PFL, he will likely remain the king of that division.
It's Usman, it's Paul, and then it's everybody else, unfortunately. And again, Alfie had an incredible run to get this opportunity, but I do believe this is too big of a step up.
I also think Gadzi and Usman are on just different levels.
Yeah.
I think Usman is a step above. I think he is UFC caliber and UFC title challenger caliber at that. The co-main, Ramazan Kuramagomedov taking on Shamil Musayev for the 170 belt. Both guys undefeated, 13-0 versus 20-0. But despite that, Shamil Musayev finds himself as a pretty big favorite. I think this is just going to be a high-level fight.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, this was like, these are some of the guys that when you're looking at the tournament that PFL did last year, we were outlining like, okay, PFL's problem was never that they didn't have talent. And I think this idea that now they're moving away from these tournaments gives an opportunity to showcase these guys better, right? In a tournament structure, sometimes some guy has a bad night or the preparation for it's not the right, like it's a completely different type of system. And so sometimes you don't get to highlight talent that I think gets a little bit underserved by some of the tournament stuff. I think this is where you can best showcase them. And there's some other names on this card that like it's a decent card. You know?
It absolutely is.
You look all the way down on the prelims, and it's Denise Keyholtz, who was like a staple of Bellator, a known quantity.
Bro, they got Taylor Lapilus on the prelims. That Luke Trainer Rob Wilkinson fight is a banger, dude.
100%. Lapilus is a guy who everybody thought like should still be in the UFC, super talented. When you have this opportunity where Carl Williams, a former UFC guy, when you have this opportunity where you can just be like Jesus Pinedo, a fucking beast, Lazy King's on this card. When you have the opportunity to build a card where you're just like, we're going to put our best talent, we're going to put them in these opportunities in matchups that we think are good. I do think like this feels like a step in the right direction, and I think this is going to be a decent night for PFL.
Habib's on the card. Training out of Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov school. A guy named Habib.
Yeah, but that's not Habib.
Habib.
There's only one Habib.
Well, no. This guy this is a second Habib.
No, but he's not.
A second Habib has entered the training facility. You can't say Habib is on the
card because that's not.
A second Habib has entered the training facility. Yeah, man, it's a solid card. I like that they're starting it early. Truly is. This is hardcore uncrowned Saturday. Uncrowned hardcore Saturday. Hardcore Saturday.
Who's to check?
Hardcore doesn't. I don't know if it fits well in there.
Diehards.
Oh, I like that.
Uncrowned gets hard.
Uncrowned gets hard. Uncrowned Saturday, fuck you if you're a casual. That'll be the tagline. Shaheen, go ahead and print that up, man. That's the headline.
Oh shit, Habib's on this card.
Habib training out of Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov school. Here he comes. Habib Nabib.
Do you think he can become the Habib?
That would truly take a Herculean effort.
It would be a monumental effort if he was able to actually do that.
Let's see how he's doing on social. He's got to be killing it. Oh shit! Here it is. Habib and Habib. Posted on January 16th.
How many followers we at?
37K.
All right.
Not bad.
Get a few PFL wins under your belt. You move over to the UFC.
Habib squared, bro. Shout out. Habib and Habib.
Habib and Habib.
That's something. That's something. Yeah, shout out to PFL, though. This should be a really good card. 2 title fights. I also have to give them credit on the poster. They're already putting in the ranking system. Like if you look at the poster, like Lazy King is number 5 at 170, Pinedo number 3 at 145.
Who decided that?
James Tahuno?
Might as well.
I think it was John Martin. Shout out to him. You got the rankings next to their names on the poster.
Habib
there it
and
is.
Habib.
Habib x Habib. Shout out.
Now, when they walk around, like this example, right? They're in this room. What does person in the back say when who looks when they say Habib?
They say, "Yo, Habib."
Who looks?
They both say, "Look," and it's just like, no, I think he's talking to me, bro. That's what Nabia says to Nurmagomedov. No, he's talking to me, little bro. No, I think he just kind of learns to tune it out, and he kind of just knows the feel of when it's to him. Like, obviously, people say Connor around here a lot because of McGregor, and they just say Connor. I've learned to like know.
You know the context.
Know that
you're ready.
They're talking about McGregor.
Or you just give him a nickname like a John Pork. You know, he just has a different name.
They're just all John Porks.
They're all John Porks?
If you're not Islam and you're not Habib, you're just all John Pork. What's up, John Pork?
It's like, did you happen to see 28 Years Later Part 2?
No.
They're all Jimmys. It's
the Bone Kingdom or whatever.
Bone Temple.
Bone Temple.
Fuck, it's a great movie.
It's good.
Fucking amazing.
Fuck, shout out. Watched the new Knives Out the other day.
Shout out to Chai Lewis Parry, by the way, he's the alpha zombie in 28 Years Later.
Oh, isn't he an MMA fighter?
He more known for kickboxing. British kickboxer. He's the guy many moons ago when Jon Jones was at like a fitness expo. He was from the back of like the crowd being like, I want to fight you.
And John's like,
let him through. That was Chai.
Wow.
He's an incredible character. He fought in Glory. He was a Glory heavyweight.
Shout out.
Really solid dude, and happy for him. He's very successful now.
Shout out to him. All right, that is the weekend ahead. You got PFL in the morning. You got UFC in the afternoon, and you finish it off with Knucklemania 6 in the evening. Truly is another round of Uncrowned Saturday. This one, for the diehards. Let's get into the bets and picks for this weekend. Parlay Pals, gotta say, boys.
We up?
We're up.
Let's
go.
Now.
That's a lot of green on there.
Look at all that green.
Let's go. We nailed it last week. Honestly, never really a doubt.
No sweat.
A little shaky with camera after round one, but like other than that, it was a no
sweat.
sweater. Plus 261. Nail it. Back in the green. 16 and 32. So, for every 2 we lose, we're hitting 1. We're hitting
And that's
1.
enough to be profitable.
That's enough to be profitable, baby. And I think we're going to bounce back. Not bounce back. We're going to keep the train rolling this weekend, baby. I've already gotten Petey's pick. He's taking Fareed Basharat. Frankie, what's the order, man?
The order is Frank, Connor, Rick.
Take it away, man.
I am going to do the over 2.5 for Salsa in Brazil.
Wow. No faith in the fighting nerd Bruna Brasil getting the finish.
Oh, he'll get the finish in the last 30 seconds of the
Chill.
fight.
It's a woman.
Chill. It's a woman.
I said she.
It's a woman.
You didn't hear me? I said she'll get the finish.
No.
You guys just heard what you wanted to hear because you are...
Shill, as in...
Like she's a shill.
Shill? All right.
Next up is Connor.
Over to my pick. I said I'm excited about him. Kyoji Horiguchi.
Shout out to the Gooch.
Shout out to the Gooch, man.
I'm also excited about my pick, and it's the one and only Lock Dog. Taking him as a dog.
Wow,
Let's do it.
wow. Oh, that's going to give us a fat payout.
Yeah.
He's like a plus 150. Oh, there it is. Plus 142. Plus 430 on this parlay. Wow, if we hit
feeling
this,
it.
If we hit this will get us over 5 units of profit.
Let's do it.
Holy shit.
Not since Juliana Pena pulled off the upset have we gotten that high.
Yo, yeah. And the best part about this is that it's all going to come down to you if it does.
Let's do it.
So like we can get to that point.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm the main event. That's right. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's
Can we hedge Parlay Pals?
No, we cannot hedge Parlay Pals. Honestly, what's kind of crazy, I'm looking at DraftKings here. DraftKings has BKFC lines. Ben Rothwell, Andre Arlovsky, minus
Who's the
220.
favorite?
Minus 220 Rothwell.
Yeah, that makes sense, actually.
Lorenzo Hunt, minus 315 against David Mundell.
God, imagine that was fucking Yoel.
Dude, be such a sick card, but still, it's a quality card. I'm looking forward to it. All right, my bets for this weekend, I got a few. Right now, they're just all on the Apex. We start with Gaforov Wiklas to not go the distance. This is a fight to me where Gaforov could get a knockout, Wiklas could get a submission. At plus money, I'm willing to pay the price there. I like the odds for this one to not go. I know they were just in a split decision. Wiklas has like 16 submissions in his career. If it stays striking, I don't think Wiklas is good enough to hang with Gaforov. I could see a finish happening on either side. We roll along. I like violence this weekend. Almeida Kunyev under 2.5. Honestly, I think Almeida takes him down, and I think he gets the finish either in round 1 or round 2. And if he doesn't, and it stays standing, I think Kunyev is very live for a knockout. I like violence in this fight. I know everyone snooze fest. I'm just going to eat my crow. If this one goes to a decision, if this is a lay and pray fest from Almeida, I'll eat the crow. Egg on my face.
Oh, no.
I'm willing.
You just guaranteed it.
No. I'll eat the crow. If this is it, I'll eat the crow. I'll eat the crow. We keep rolling along. Bautista, Lockdog. I'm going to say it doesn't go to a decision because Lockdog either finishes him in the early rounds, maybe 1, 2, 3, puts it on him, puts that pace, puts that pressure, puts that power on him and finishes it, or Bautista, as the rounds roll along, really starts to just drown him in the championship rounds and gets him out of there. Minus 154. I like the price tag on that. 2 parlays for me. Kong Wang, Kyoji Horiguchi. Shout out to the Wang. Shout out to the Gooch. They get it done. The Gooch Wang parlay. Trademarking that now. Thank you very much. Hammer that one. Next up.
Hammer the Gooch in the Wang.
Hammer the Gooch with the Wang. Parlay them up. It's a lock. Let's go. I don't know why I didn't brand that harder, but yeah, that's getting bet. That's getting bet heavily. Mikhail MAB fight does not go to a decision. Donchenko Morona fight does not go to a decision. I very much think both of those fights end in knockout on either side. Pays minus 177. Those are the bets. Those are the picks. Those are the previews. Those are the news and notes. And we did it all in a clean 2 hours.
Love it.
But we're not done yet because there was a bearing of the lead earlier.
No. Before we go to that.
Oh, okay.
I think I know where you're going, but before you get to that, we have some updates from the proceedings today. Again, courtesy of our friend Zach Arnold, who is following this very closely, Fight Opinion on X. He says, Judge Boulware is starting to find Hunter Campbell's "I can't recall" routine, this is in quotes, to be incredulous as chief legal officer. Hunter name drops Reish McKnight and other attorneys outside counsel in UFC's orbit with legal advice responsibilities. Delangelo asks Hunter as chief legal officer at UFC whether or not he was responsible for overseeing compliance by employees for litigation holds. Hunter wants specifics on what responsibilities mean. Judge Boulware immediately steps in. He's not buying anything from Hunter. So it seems like a little bit of a continuation from Hunter Campbell in terms of Dana White yesterday being like, look, man, I don't do anything. I passed it off to these guys. Now they have the guy that Dana White's saying I passed this off to, and Hunter Campbell's like,
I don't remember.
I don't know anything. We got legal counsel over here. So,
well, in his defense, they may have chose the wrong day to bring him in because we are now getting more here. Hunter Campbell says he's still jet lagged from his 22-hour trip from Australia. Delangelo asking about Dana's old phones being imaged at least 2 or 3 times, maybe 21 or 22, speaking in 2021, 2022, speculating on time frame. Judge Boulware steps in again. So Hunter Campbell not giving much.
Yeah, I must say, like, based on just this blow by blow, the TikTok of what I've seen from yesterday and today, it obviously seems like the UFC is doing their best to just say, hey, we don't know. Like, you know, we presented everything that we have and we don't know anything you're asking for additional information. I don't know how well that goes for them. It seems like Boulware, you know, as Zach Arnold is implying, is kind of like that's wearing thin on him. So let's see where the UFC ends up on the back end of this. But he does not seem like he's taking the, like, shrug.
Yeah, he's not taking too kindly to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, well, you know, our main focus when we were talking was sort of like, who's running the UFC? Yeah. Theirs is like, we need to get to the bottom of these legal issues.
And the missing information, are there text messages missing? What happened to these phones? And I will say it is a little bit weird for yesterday to have been like, I don't handle this stuff. That's the guy over there. You want that Hunter Campbell guy. And now Hunter's in the seat and he's like,
oh, shit.
This guy, that guy.
I can't remember shit, man. Where are we right now?
Let's see where this ends up. But again, very, very significant, right? You talked about, we already had the Kung Lee class action lawsuit settled, payments out. Everybody kind of felt like, man, the UFC might have gotten off a little bit easy here, right? Like they just settled this money and they don't have to worry about this anymore. There's now 2 still pending pieces of litigation. And this one, they are pressing very hard, it's seeming, to get all the information from these cell phones, from these emails, from these Instagram DMs brought to light. So that's going to be very fascinating.
It's going to be interesting to see where it goes. We will keep a close eye on it. Uncrowned will have all the coverage you need for that. I did mention one last piece of news that we got this week, a little bit buried, and I didn't really see many people talking about it, but it was with Quillan Salkild and Ariel Helwani. Helwani interviewed him, and as he was asking questions, he broke a bit of news that no one really responded to. Here it is right here.
We spoke to James Tahuna, who just opened a bakery over in, I think, in Sydney. I feel like there's something there where people will really get behind it.
Damn, I think I could. Perth Bakery should be opened up.
Let's go.
I think so. That's good. Yes.
Yeah, so James Tahuna
opened
up a bakery.
And Ariel reconnected with James Tahuna.
Yeah. And he let Quillan Salkild know, and Quillan seemed to know about a Perth bakery. We actually have pictures here. Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, there it is. The Bakery Brothers. James Tahuna.
Look at James in the back there.
James Tahuna? Shout out. Wait a minute.
Is that James Tahuna?
Wait. No. Wait, no. I think Ariel was talking about Tyson Pedro.
No, wasn't it James Tahuna?
No. I think from the pictures here, I think he was talking about Tyson Pedro, actually.
No, but surely he could not have again.
Not again.
Said Tyson.
Also, the way
Pedro is James Tahuna.
The fucking way he teed it up. My favorite thing to recount from that interview with Tai Tuivasa is, your boy James looking great in the boxing. And then he's just like, James Tahuna?
James Tahuna?
And Ariel tees it up to him, and he's just like, "Did you see your boy James opened up a bakery? We just spoke to James Tahuna. He opened up a bakery."
Unfortunately, Quillen Salkeld was not as versed in the, for Tai Tuivasa, it's particularly.
Oh my
It's his.
God,
It's his brother-in-law. So it's.
Could you have fucking imagined if he was like, your boy James just opened a bakery over in Perth, and he's like, Quillen Salkeld's just like,
James Tahuna? I would have lost my fucking mind.
I would have absolutely died if he had it. I wish Quillen had been in the loop enough to call him out on it. That would have been so good. But yeah, again, almost 10 months later, Ariel once again mistakes Tyson Pedro for James Tahuna, but Quillen didn't know enough to call him on it, so the interview just kept right on rolling.
We have reached the point where we need a piece of James Tahuna content. It's official.
I need it like crack.
We need
like
the James
air.
Tahuna reunion interview. Ariel, James, in some capacity. Zoom. Let's go out and see him, his bakery, and his boxing career.
You owe it to him at this point.
And
for sure.
Well, I mean, honestly, like I actually think the one we owe, like the one who's being most hard done is Tyson Pedro, who's doing all these things. It's
We need a James
credited to
Tahuna interview,
Tahuna.
and then it's just Tyson Pedro on the screen.
It's Tyson Pedro's bakery, right?
Yes, that is
So if
Tyson
we went to go to the bakery, like we owe him that. But now I'm confused.
Yeah, it's the bakery.
Well, to be fair, when we talked to this, and Tyson Pedro was a very good sport about it when Ariel had Tyson Pedro on, he said he's still friends with James Tahuna, and he came to the bakery, like he's inspired by James Tahuna. So I actually think
James
there could be
Tahuna
something
the biggest
funny.
legend in Australia?
No, but he is
Everyone
one of the
knows.
like obviously the reason why Ariel keeps mentioning James Tahuna is like he was like one of the OGs. He was one of the guys from that region to come into the UFC that like everybody knew, respected. He was a great fighter, and so that memory sticks. That memory persists.
I didn't mention it during the watch party, but every Australian card, I keep my fingers crossed. I
That they cut
pray
to him?
that they're going to go to a celeb cam and it's going to be James Tahuna.
And we just go
crowd pop out of this world. Yeah, it's just, there he is. There he is, James Tahuna, baby.
And it's Tyson Pedro.
Even the UFC fucks it up. That'd be amazing. But yeah, those big stuff, big breaking news there. Frankie, do we have any voicemails?
No, we don't.
Oh, all right. Thanks, man.
Ahoy, hoy. I just called and I talked about the whole Vogue situation, but I'm calling back because I forgot I wanted to ask. Since you guys are kind of going on the Cooking with Vogue and this whole cooking segment, what about on a BITB episode, we do like a 15, 20-minute segment, Rick versus GC, something simple, maybe an appetizer or something. You guys, I don't know, bring hot plates or something and kind of cook off and see who wins. I know GC's trying to step up his cooking game. Rick is a dad. I'm assuming he cooks something at some point. I'd love to see it. And Frank is an all-time level hater, so he's probably going to hate both dishes. But Frank should definitely be the judge. What do you guys think?
Okay. I personally love the idea.
I don't want that smoke.
I'm not
Let Jordan
I'm not good enough yet. Yeah,
let
let
Jordan take my
step in.
spot.
I like that. Me versus on air Jordan, and it's like a beat Bobby Flay style thing. And Rick is the judge.
You know I'd smoke you.
What was that, dude?
It was Jordan.
Did you say you know I'd smoke you into Jordan's mic, Frank?
It's Jordan.
Also, can we talk about that guy's mic on the call? It sounded like he was doing he was talking into an Xbox mic, but he like had it jammed up.
When they stick it right in their mouth.
Don't forget
I
the
used
lady
to do that back in the day. Halo, real ones know. Vito.
What, for the map? You don't like the map?
Yeah.
Don't forget the lady who called from the shitter. Like people just call from everywhere.
I love that idea. Made a nice Thai curry coconut soup earlier this week. It was tremendous. Yeah. Been loving cooking.
All right, when Jordan gets back from the bathroom, we'll ask him, but I don't want that smoke. I am not culinarily inclined. I am not.
Okay. Uncrowned cook-off.
I'm not
That's
a
what
cook.
we'll call it.
I'm not a chef. I'm not a cook. My takes, I can cook with my takes, but I cannot cook in the kitchen.
Is there smoke alarms in here? Can we do it in here?
Maybe we do it in the...
Just open the window.
In the main area.
Okay, all right. I like this.
No, we'll do it in the main area, and...
Are we doing it live?
Yeah.
Nah, let's VOD it. So we can put a little... Live?
down for live.
Yeah.
No, it
Gotta
takes
do it
too
live.
long. It takes too long. I don't want to.
That's when you go to the oven and you pull out the already made one. You're like, oh, the
No,
power of
we do
production.
something that doesn't need the oven. Mise en place,
Yeah.
Huh? Come again?
where you just have everything ready and it's just doom, 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 doom.
How long are we thinking here?
20
He
minutes.
said 15 minutes.
Yeah, 15, 20 minutes.
Chopped style.
The producer that called in on the Xbox microphone said 15 minutes.
All right, we'll get Jordan's
Yeah.
thoughts on it. I like this idea. I still
down.
vote VOD.
I'm down.
Boys in the back, how's it going? It's LA Rick here. Again, I just wanted to express my love for you guys one more time, my gratitude as well. Just this community that you guys have built. As I told you before, I've been following Ariel since the beginning. I'm a loyal UFC fan since 1993, the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu days. And just, watching this whole sport grow to these levels and being with Ariel and seeing how this family has gotten bigger with you, Eric, New York Rick, reaching these levels of becoming who you are now to the show. The importance of who you are to this operation is amazing. GC, I love having you as part of this family again. Frank, it's just amazing. And thank you guys for being with us every step of the way in this thing called life, because some of us, I love hearing those voicemails of people that truly depend on you guys for those happy days, those happy moments. And I'm one of those people that I cannot have a normal day without you guys. So, this week with, these last few days with the Michael Chiesa interview, amazing. The stories that we get to hear, that we surprise ourselves sometimes with, we think we know about the sport and the people and the athletes, but then we hear stories that are so deep. And then that Deontay Wilder, interview, that Chisora Wilder interview, amazing, man. This, Deontay, just deep shit. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ariel, for doing what you're doing. The Crack, Ben Folks, Chuck, Pizzi, seriously, what you guys are doing for us is just incredible. So thank you for giving us so many weekly gifts, all these nuggets of laughter, of life, of MMA. Thank you, Ariel, for putting all this shit together. You guys fucking rock. Frank, you're the man, baby. You're the man.
There he goes. There's the circle.
All right, love you guys. Bye-bye.
I love you too, brother. Appreciate the call, man. It means a lot. Really does mean a lot. It doesn't take a little amount of effort. This takes a lot of effort to make this ship keep running. So we really appreciate your appreciation, man. It means a lot to us.
Thank you, brother.
Yo, boys in the back.
What's up, bro?
It's Jammer.
Jammer.
So I was thinking about it, and the UFC just let another fight slip through their hands with Patty versus Ilia. I know, Ilia was out, whatever. He had to do what he had to do, but I just feel like now we're never going to get that fight, and the heat on that fight was just fucking awesome. I wanted to see it. But anyways, it made me think. I got a blind ranking for you here, GC. Let's blind rank these 5. Wish we could have had them matchups.
Okay, let's keep it
I guess there could have been a better way to say that. But anyways,
gotta be quick.
Here's the list.
Yo.
Starting with number 1. There's 5 of them.
All right,
So,
5.
Number 1, Jorge versus Leon.
Ooh, I'll go.
We saw the first round of that fight. We saw the first 10 seconds. The 3-piece in the soda heard around the world, but I really just wish we would have seen the conclusion in the cage. I actually think that Leon probably would have worked him, but
3.
We'll never know.
I'll go 3.
But anyways, what about John versus Francis?
That's one.
Not John versus Tom, but John versus Francis. I feel like that's the way more exciting matchup, and we never got to see it. We've moved on to, talking about how John has ducked Tom, but people forget that he ducked Francis initially. So, and then Dana spun it to where somehow Francis ducks John, but we all know, real ones know what happened there. Anyways, next one, Tony versus Habib.
Fuck. 2.
I feel like that's an obvious one.
Feels like that might have been 1. All right.
The next one is Connor versus Jake Paul. You can do it whatever way you want, boxing or MMA.
5.
I feel like MMA is a little more interesting, but yeah.
5.
Hypothetically.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen that happen, but I think it's like never going to happen now.
Yeah.
And the last one, one that I'm really disappointed we never got to see, and that's Todd Duffy versus John Vellante. Anyways, deuces, guys. Love you.
I'm fucking with you, man. That should have been my one. But we're half to slate at 4. Shout out to Todd Duffy. Shout out to John Vellante. That was a solid list, though. I'm very I'm content with my list.
I feel like John and Francis is actually number 1 for me too.
Yeah. Habib Tony 2. Who do you say for 3?
Jorge
Leon. Yeah.
It's
John
a good
Vellante,
list.
Todd Duffy, and then McGregor, Jake Paul. I'm with it.
All right.
Boys, pound for pound best cooks, and we're going to leave the number 1 cook off.
Who's that?
And his sidekick. Made more money than anybody else, inspired millions to switch their job in hopes of making more money. And that is, of course, Walter White and Jesse Pinkman with the blue stuff.
Shout out.
They cooked the best shit. Everybody loved it. And they made the most money, most famous. And I can't believe we missed the mark and left them out. Shout out to 2 legends.
Shout out to 2 legends. My favorite show of all time. Shout out to Breaking Bad.
Do you think there actually was an uptick in like drug dealers after that?
I don't know. They made it look pretty cool.
Popularized it?
They made it look pretty cool.
What's up, boys in the back? Shout out the show. Shout out Ariel going to the Olympics.
Shout out the Olympics.
Shout out Sully and his call a couple weeks ago. I about 10, 15 minutes ago found out my mom has stage 4 cancer of some sort. They're not sure where, but there's nothing I can say that hasn't already been said by people in the community before, but like, you guys are my best friends and some of the most reoccurring voices in my head every day. But just wanted to let you guys know hug your family and keep them close.
Yeah, it's a good message, man.
I'm very sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah.
I know that's not easy dealing with a diagnosis like that. My mom was diagnosed with cancer when I was younger. It wasn't stage 4, but still it was an incredibly heavy time. So I imagine it's even more heavy for you. That's incredibly tough to deal with, and appreciate you calling, man. If, whatever we can do, if we're just a little help for you, man, I hope we can be. But yeah, man, try to hang in there and yeah, that's just not easy. It's just not easy.
No, really well said. Shout out to Sully, who kind of was vulnerable, and all the people who have followed that lead and expressed some messages like that. It means the world to us. But yeah, if we can help in any way, our little part that we do, we're very thankful that you're along for this ride with us.
Yeah, man. Thinking of you, praying for you.
Yeah.
And just try to hang in there, man. That's brutal.
Boys, Eric from Detroit. Got
What's up,
2 things for you. First thing, thanks for defending the illustrious Little Caesars Arena last week.
Thank you, bro.
No idea why Ariel always shits on Detroit whenever it's brought up.
Come on,
Probably because the Pistons are in first place. 2, with the Winter Olympics starting, if MMA were in the Olympics, which countries would win gold, silver, and bronze? Shout out Boom Boom Huck Jam. Love you guys. Can't wait to hear what you say.
Shout out to the Boom Boom Huck Jam. I need to rock that shirt, man. That thing's been getting dust in my closet lately. Shout out to Des Moines. Who would win? Also, shout out to the Big Breadstick, most importantly. Shout out to Little Caesars Arena, one of the preeminent arenas in all of the United States. Fantastic venue. Olympics?
Would
Russia gold?
Well, Dagestan, right?
Yeah, but they're going to be representing Russia.
Then that's a no-brainer.
No-brainer. Brazil
would probably do very well.
Silver.
Who else? That's probably the 2 biggest right now.
And then you're gonna see like someone else pop up for maybe Georgia. Depends where Ilia is representing.
That's interesting. But are these guys going to the Olympics? Is the question.
Yeah, we're just playing in a fantasy
world where it's like the best fighters go. Because even at the mid to low tier, I feel like Dagestanis would like clean up.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think it's Russia, Brazil, and then it's going to be like some wild card takes bronze. It'd be really interesting to watch. Can I break the fourth wall here?
Sure.
About 10 minutes ago, the screen on my computer just went completely yellow.
Oh, boy.
And it hasn't gone back to normal yet, and I don't know.
Have you power cycled it?
No, I'm about to.
This has happened to me. I just unlock it and it's fine. Is that not happening for you?
Oh, fuck, it worked. Yeah.
Look at that.
Wow, unlocking it worked. Wow, shout out. Thanks,
Wait, that
man.
wasn't the first thing you tried to do?
Look, man. We
Look,
were
he's
getting some
trying to-
serious phone
trying to
calls,
host a
and my
show,
shit just went completely
Well,
yellow.
I'm just giving you shit because I heard you called me out when I was taking a little break about
you
my
were like-
cooking. You said that my cooking sucked.
He said he
None
could
of that's
outclass your
true.
cooking in every way. We said you were in the bathroom and that you couldn't
You
respond.
said
He's
you were
like-
going to show me, like...
he even said he could go to the bathroom better than you.
You
It
said
was-
you won every challenge on the Adron, so you're going to win every challenge in the kitchen?
This is me and all my cooking
one's going on
belts here.
backwards.
None of that's true, actually. I respect you as a great opponent in the kitchen. The kitchen isn't a place for disrespect. Okay?
Oh, okay. So Frank just lied to me.
He did.
He said,
as he typically does. But yeah, here's me and all my cooking titles. Thank God my computer went back to normal. God,
I would still let GSD know that there's a
I just need a whole new laptop, man. It's been shitting the bed
From
lately.
someone that had to replace his laptop recently, be careful what you wish for, dude. It sucks. Like, we were halfway through the show, and I was like, oh, crap, I forgot this one file that's still on the old one.
Yeah, I'm just gonna hard drive whole bad boy over.
Smart. I should have done that.
Yeah, you should have thought of that, man.
Yeah,
should have thought about not drinking the yerba mate over my laptop that one morning.
Holy shit! Can we break the fourth wall and tell that
We already
story?
have. I thought you guys had already exposed this.
Oh,
Look,
no.
Sometimes I get excited when I'm drinking the old yerba.
We were in the control room, just having our, morning discussion. I'm standing up. I'm telling Frank something I was looking forward to, and he just pours an entire yerba mate on his keyboard. Just.
We should
I was
state
like-
for the record so that if GSD ever came across this videotape, he did not just pick up a can and pour it onto the...
No. Like, yerba mate makes me faster. I thought the computer would maybe go into overdrive.
That's essentially what he did. And as someone who...
I'm clipping this to send.
Who one time, me and my boy, it was St. Patrick's Day, beginning of March Madness, noon tip-off, and I'm finishing an assignment in class, and we're like, let's go March Madness, green beers, cheers them. Thing just busts straight onto my computer. Before I could even look at my computer, shit went black, never turned on again, completely dead. So when I saw Frank do that, I was just like,
yeah, I was
"You're
pretty
fucked."
jarred.
I thought he was fucked.
And y'all just took turns pointing and laughing.
Bullshit, I wouldn't grab you paper towels.
he
You
tried to
had
help.
your
I
hands in
laughed.
your pocket, and you were just like, well, we'll get him next time.
Yeah, you were very passive in that scenario. Connor was the most
Do you
concerned.
remember when Connor was like, there's something about Frank, there's calmness under an emergency. That's all
Yeah.
that was. I was just like, well, I can't undo that.
Are you too calm when you poured an entire yerba mate onto your laptop?
What am I going to do? Pull out a straw and reverse the process? Like, it's done.
Clean it?
I don't think you know how this works.
Try and dry it off.
When I told IT about it, I was like, there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with it, though. They were like, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, and we need to replace that laptop
Yeah, I
immediately.
put 17 ounces of ice cold yerba mate right between the D and the F.
Here's the
key.
real incriminating
So
part.
I'm not sure why it's still
Nowhere
working.
am I messaging to them does it say yerba mate. It says water. But when they see these sticky ass keys, they're gonna be like, I'm like, what's in the water?
They're gonna pull it out and they're gonna be like, it smells like
Blueforia.
That's
Blueforia
grade
yerba
A
mate?
yerba mate.
No, sorry, it's yerba madre.
Yo, what up, BITB? This
What's up,
is
bro?
Ethan calling from Northern Alberta. I left some recent questions on the nose about the Knicks, but I had to get my first voicemail in on my favorite show this week.
Let's go.
Now that the Knicks are back on track, I actually have to talk about some MMA stuff on the MMA show, but I'm going to ramble a little bit about myself first. A little bit of background. I'm 25 years old, been happily married for 3.5 years now, and with the wife for 7 years as of February 2nd.
Congratulations,
so
brother.
that's big. My wife does not fuck with MMA, though, at all. So I'm always watching by myself or with the boys. Anyhow, last night, me and the wife watching some Jeopardy, like married couples do.
As one does.
And guess which ad I'm getting on the TV? Muckleshoot Casino. And the wife says, hey, that place actually looks pretty nice.
Shut
and
up.
Washington isn't that far.
Shut up.
Interesting. So what I'm wondering is this a sign that me and the wife got to make the 15-hour pilgrimage so that we can come meet the boys in the back and she can see why I love this show so much? If so, what do we get? No, I'm just joking. All jokes aside, love you guys, love the show. Shout out to the woke front bench and the man himself, Ariel Helwani. Most of all, shout out to Franklin Mysterious for putting me on to Poppy last year. What do you think of that new album, King? Thanks a lot, guys. Love the show. Take it easy.
Holy shit.
What a call.
Fantastic call. Amazing call. So many things to get into from that. First and foremost, you saw 15 hours to Muckleshoot Casino and you were like, it's not that far? That's insane. Secondly, yes, you should absolutely come. It will be unbelievable. We will be at Muckleshoot. Okay, I'm just going to say, look at...
Spoiler, we're going to be at Muckleshoot.
We're going to be at fucking Muckleshoot, all right? This might as well be the official announcement. The boys in the back become the boys in the muck. We will be at the shoot for UFC Seattle. It's going to be unbelievable. Going to do a show from there, not like a live show with a fan audience, but like we're going to do a show from there. Thirdly, convince her why you love MMA, get her to love it. It will be a massive letdown for her to meet two schmucks, a bald guy and a guy with a nice hairline, but very unimpressive in stature. It really will not. It will not help her case at all. We actually have met people at events, and they're just like, dude, I'm such a huge fan. And their girlfriends will be like, this is who you watch? Like, these fucking clowns?
They're just like, standing there smiling like this, like nodding along.
They're like, man, fuck these guys. Who the fuck these guys are? Lastly, on mine, and then we can get to everyone else's, he mentioned the Knicks. There was a lot of panic around this office, around this control room, around this studio about the New York Knickerbockers and their play in the basketball court. It's as if there was only just someone who was sitting there, a steady voice the whole time and being like, the Knicks are going to be fine. The Knicks are going to be fine. The Knicks are going to be fine. Don't worry about it. Soon enough, they'll be in the playoff as a 2-seed. It'll all be good. Sure enough, the New York Knicks have won 8 straight, and they now find themselves a 2-seed. Just want to say, if only there had been a steady voice being like,
good thing Frank is here to steady us and be like, you'll win in double overtime against the Joker.
Yep. I think it's like a plus 180 point differential through the 8 games. I think they had their largest victory in franchise history. It's just almost like...
And I'm glad they didn't trade for Giannis,
If you're glad? Oh, fuck.
If only there was just someone there who was like, yeah, don't panic. The Knicks are going to be fine.
This offseason is going to be bad if the Knicks don't get Giannis.
Okay, what else did he say? Frankie Poppy?
Yeah. I'm glad that you're enjoying that. The new album came out, I want to say, 2 weeks ago? It's not my favorite. I've listened to it a couple of times now. I'm not really big into Jordan Fish's involvement in her last 2 albums. I will say, from a technical point, it has got more dynamic range than the one from last year did. So I'm happy with that. I just doing this phase, go for it. That's the one thing I like about Poppy is each album kind of has a different era to it, for lack of a better way of describing that. So I'm just looking forward to what the next one will be, but still want to check out the shows and appreciate the support.
Nice. We're going to the muck.
We're going to the muck. Was there anything else in that call? That call was so good.
Got married early. Congratulations.
Married early is very similar to my brother. My oldest brother got married at 23. So,
but yeah, we'll be at the muck for a few days before UFC Seattle. Not the whole time, but we'll be at the muck. So we'll provide more details to come. But maybe you make that 15-hour drive and you get to meet me and Connor and your girlfriend, wife, sorry. Your wife gets to be like, oh, okay, and not get it at all.
We got Helwani in the chat, live from Italy. He's shitting on you, Frank. What's Frank on about?
Are we benefiting from him in the chat
God,
right
I
now?
miss you so much, Frank. What was that, Frankie?
Wow.
Yeah, shut up.
What an asshole.
Boys in the back, salam alaikum, Matt from Dagestan. My question this week is for Connor. You are at the top of the mountain right now with memes. I look forward to your fight day numbered card memes every single week. The one you did a few weeks ago, which was Paddy Pimblett strolling to the title shot. Meanwhile, Justin Gaethje with the battlefield footage of all the explosions and gunshots going on around him. Yeah. It was the perfect meme. I sent it to all of my friends that I watch fights with.
Amazing.
Talk about how long it takes you to do these memes. Is there a team behind them? You're at the top of the mountain, my friend. Take a bow. I'll hang up and listen.
I appreciate that. I really do. I feel like some people forget that, like, they think I'm falling off on the meme game. The 324 memes were going nuclear. Several like 10K, 15K likes in there on Twitter. The issue is we're doing so many more shows now. So like I'm so locked in on the show from Monday through Thursday that I kind of just dump post them on Saturdays. So it sort of like fries the engagement a little bit. What I need to do is be posting them throughout the week so like more people can see them. There is no team behind it. It is literally just me and this computer that consistently runs out of space and I have to restart it. Like the amount of times that I've been like balls deep in a meme and I'm like, oh, yeah, out of space, have to restart it is killing me. But yeah, just me. How long does it take me? Not that long. It doesn't take me that long. I mean, I've been doing this for like 4 years now, so we just fire it up. But the love's appreciated, man. The love is it's appreciated.
How long do your little artist series posters take you?
That takes much longer. Yeah, gonna keep posting those. No matter how bad I am. A lot of support. Several people are like, "Hey, you did it, man. It's shit," and I'm just like, I appreciate it, dude. I understand that it's shit. That's not the point of this. But yeah, shout out to the memes. I really enjoy making those, and I really enjoy when the Gaethje one especially, I knew that one was good. I was laughing as I was posting it, and then when it delivers, it feels good. So shout out.
What's up, boys? Solly from Chicago here. I gotta say, the Arman interview from this week, maybe one of my favorite interviews of all time. The guy is just so hilarious. That's it.com. I don't know what to say. It's the randomest thing I've ever heard, but it's so funny. On that topic, if you could only ever use one drop for the rest of the history of this podcast, what's it going to be? What works in every situation? What's the funniest? All of you guys, let me know what's the one drop you could use. That's it.com might be the answer for me. Random as hell. So funny. All right, peace.
Can we get a that's it.com, Frankie?
That's it.com.
So good.
God, it really is fantastic. We've been asked this a few times. The who's to check fits in with just about everything. It's so good. My favorite always is going to be who the fuck is we, but you can only use that so many times.
Who the fuck is we?
God, it's so good. The way he says it, what he's talking about. Like, that is mid-interview, and it's just cut so perfectly, and it's been so, like, renowned that several times I can just post the picture of Poirier being, like looking pissed, and people know what I'm talking about.
I love that one. For me, it's still James Tahuna because of the back.
That's a bullshit.
James Tahuna is just undefeated.
Okay, I also
keep my fucking name out your mouth.
That's an all-timer. Like, I also completely agree with Ariel when he's just like, I love when I see people commenting and it's the drops and everything like that, especially on ones that don't make sense. But like, I commented on Armin's video where he's snowboarding and like just said something about it, and like people started replying.
No, tell us what you said. Don't just say I said something about it. What'd you say? What'd you say to Armin Sarukian?
Have we seen the video? We've seen the video where he's snowboarding and like he eats the bread. The bread gets delivered.
No,
you haven't seen it.
We saw this on Monday on the Ariel Helwani show.
Can I make a confession?
Yeah.
I'm not as like locked into the Armin food shit as you guys.
I got post noties on, bro.
I'm just not.
I got post noties on for Armin.
I like Armin. Armin's great. I know that
I don't think we have the video in the system, but he's snowboarding. You know, this is great for the audience here.
Yeah, he's snowboarding.
He's snowboarding and he gets handed bread and he gets handed a drink.
Water or something.
Yeah, coconut water. He's biting it and then he eats shit. It's all time. It's great shit.
What'd you say?
From Armin. But look at the bread guy. You can see the bread guy. The audience can see this. You see
here's the bread guy.
Pulls up with the baguette, grabs the baguette, ducks down, and then just rolls off. So I commented, why was Bread Boy so smooth with it? And, people were, got a lot of likes, no big deal. But people commented, that's it.com, who's to check, who's to check.
Yeah, I also know that inevitably, if Armin posts anything, Ariel will
for sure
send it. So I don't need to like follow and be religious with my Armin Sarukian food content.
Yeah, we did play it on Monday.
Dude, we were
I was a little
around.
busy on
yeah,
Monday,
you guys
Frank.
are busy. You're so busy.
Yeah, I know it's nice for you. You know, you can take a vacation in the middle of the show. Unfortunately, I don't have that option. All right, I was a little bit busy on Monday.
Oh, was there a new deck of Magic cards that hit the old website?
No, that's not what happened. You know, we had a few guests
Go to
in.
tap my
I just want to
mana.
acknowledge
Gotta
that everyone worked
coordinate
really
them.
hard this week, and I'm really proud of everybody on this team. Frank actually, you know, he's given a lot of shit, but Frank kind of hero this week.
Hey,
Was he?
Yeah, for me at least.
Wait, what did
I
he
don't
do
feel
that
the
was
same.
heroic?
I saved a man from drowning.
Who?
He saw someone.
Who's to check?
Yeah, that's true. Who is to check?
That's all the voicemails.
No, seriously, what has he done that was heroic?
Frank saved some audio that was very necessary.
Oh,
Super
the job?
necessary.
His job?
He said what?
Your job is to produce the show and be aware of the content that's going over it. So
His
the fact
job?
that you missed
He
something
saved
on Monday-
Somalia?
Somalia, yeah.
Some audio.
Oh,
Why are you
some
making?
audio.
He has a speech impediment. Leave him alone.
Jeez.
Ay.
It's all good, man. No, everyone's working really hard this week. It's been fun.
Speak for yourself.
Who the fuck is we?
From what I saw, Ariel's out hitting the ski slopes.
Hitting the ski scopes.
Should we break the fourth wall?
Is he skiing or
Sure,
what
let's
are you
break the
saying
fourth wall.
there,
Those
Frankie?
mountains are they're like his library at home, right?
Right.
They're fake?
They look so good. They can't be real.
The best part about the video was the constant traffic. Car.
He said, "What's a good spot to record this? Right by the highway."
You can see in the reflection of his sunglasses just
The problem is his spatial awareness. Like, we've walked through Manhattan while he's on his phone and almost got hit by a car. Like, this is not where he should be cutting videos.
Nah, he did great.
Fuck, I love it. I love it.
Was that actually the last voicemail?
Yes.
Any super chats, brother?
Don't give me fucking attitude, Frank.
Super chats. And this is the only super chat. It was one of two only super chats.
Damn.
Let's
So
go.
the only super chat,
We're
but
down
not.
bad,
We
bro.
said we weren't reading this one earlier. Now we are. Let's go, boys of the back month. My goats and goats.
Shout out, Luke.
The ITBM. Boys in the back month.
And finally, have a good Thursday, Eric.
Oh.
Wow, shout out to me.
Hey, Mr. Achilles Jr.
Yay, shout out to Killers Jr.
Love it.
Yeah, I suppose this is Boys in the Back month. You know, whether you're happy or sad, you're going to be getting a lot more of me and Rick.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck if you're happy or sad.
February. The comments are going to be great on Monday's show. Where the fuck is Ariel? Who the fuck are these clowns?
And is that Jorge Masvidal? Who was saying that?
It is going to be Jorge Masvidal's YouTube channel. Wow. 2 hours and 40 minutes flew by. We had a lot to get into, a lot of news and notes covered. I feel like my head is spinning. I feel like David Feldman just left.
Before we sign off, let's do one last little check-in on the proceedings on the trial.
Oh, yeah. Did we have something?
We have some new ones. From Fight Opinion, Zach Arnold, shout out, who's been chronicling this whole thing. I mean, you must follow his threads on this because he's just doing it tick by tick by tick by tick, doing an incredible job. Hunter Campbell said he went to Dana White's house, including his movie room and Hunter's own house, to try to find Dana's missing phone. So we're still looking for that missing phone. Judge Bill War says there are several years of missing data. So did you find other older Dana phones? Where are the other iPhones for Mr. White in the cabinet? Hunter said the older phones were smaller in scale. Bulware is trying to pin down on Hunter Campbell that there was more than one missing phone or two with older UFC data given 5 to 7 years of missing text messages. So they are really trying to like narrow in on some of these old Dana White phones, saying that there's multiple missing. It's not just like, hey, he switched this phone this one time. Delangelo asking Hunter about instructing Dana to preserve his data and taking his phone to vendor. Any other steps to ensure Dana preserve phone data? Not that I'm aware of from Hunter Campbell. What other steps did Dana take to preserve phone data? Hunter Campbell, no, I don't know what he did. So basically, here's a good summary by Zach. Hunter Campbell playing the technophobe card, saying he doesn't have an Instagram, relied on Eric Yee and Elliot Howard. Elliot was the longtime videographer for Dana White's phone data preservation, upgraded, new apps downloaded. They were responsible. Dana or Hunter relied on them to navigate social media. So it looks like more of the kind of like, we don't know what's going on here. And it seems like the judges are not convinced. So let's see how this plays out.
Yeah. We'll have to continue to monitor the situation. I'm sure it will be a lengthy proceeding to get to a result.
Where's the cell phone?
Dana?
Find the cell phone.
Don? Dino? Where's the phone, huh?
I bet that guy knows where it is. What's his name again? Michael Goldstein?
David Goldenberg.
David Goldenberg.
Shout out to him. I'm seeing in the chat, man.
What?
Pound for pound. Why no list, guys? No list? Worst show of 2026. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark.
We had a lot of stuff to get through today.
Ariel, reprimand them for doing no list. I did make a list. We were going to do pound for pound Mario games in honor of Mario Bautista.
Yeah, there was a lot to do today. The good news is you're going to see us 3 times next week. So we'll have an opportunity to do pound for pound on one of those shows.
Oh, wow, congrats.
What did Ariel say?
Let me hear a wow, congrats again.
He said that he was
American
he became an American
right?
citizen
Yeah.
3 years
Like
ago,
a
and he was
massive
like,
deal for
Oh,
him.
wow,
Like,
congrats.
I'm going to start doing that to people when they tell me shit that I don't care about.
I wish that one was a little cleaner and it'd be perfect.
No, but it's actually
"What the
better
fuck
than
do you
it
mean
isn't.
clean?" He literally was sitting there mumbling.
Oh, wow, congrats.
It's too.
Or should we say, "Oh, can you say it again, but with a little bit higher on the register, so
Frank, what
Rick
is
can
this
hear
like
it?"
new
Yeah, I don't like
voice
this. I
mocking
don't like
shit
this.
you're doing?
This is not
Fuck
good.
no, man. Fuck Connor.
Try sitting back here with him for
You know
2
what,
hours
Andy?
and 43 minutes.
Go back to cutting the show.
Why is Frank on edge today? What's up with Frank?
It's his wife's birthday. Remember at lunch when we were like, Frank, where are you taking her? And he was like, out back to put a bullet in her head.
He said that?
He
And we're
did
all
say
like,
this.
All right, so like,
the sex.
What the fuck is happening right now?
so now that we've moved on from Frank,
Is this
murdering
like
his wife? Are you taking her to dinner or?
Is this like a confession? Is this like a weird, like he's leaving this behind as an artifact of something that's to come?
I will just say about pound for pound, Mario 64 was my number one,
Same.
and Paper Mario was on there somewhere.
Actually,
Super Mario World.
Mario RPG was my number one. Mario 64 was my number 2.
Mario.
Wait, what?
RPG
You
was
said
on there.
Mario.
Mario Sunshine.
What did I say? Mario?
Sunshine's a good
Yeah,
one.
Mario. Super
Kart.
Mario.
I've never played Mario Galaxy.
What
or
about
Odyssey.
Super Mario World?
Yeah, so it feels like no, I played Super Mario World. Yeah,
Is it Wario?
shout out to Wario, bro.
No, that's Wario, but
What about-
it's Mario.
Hey, look in the chat. Trip No Ticks TV. Noah the Boa checking in.
No.
Guy that took the Jon Jones video.
What did he say?
What, he said Noah the Boa checking in.
Okay, but
Did you take him on Meta glasses? How did this
Yeah.
come to be? What happened?
All right, we
Noah?
got to stick around for 2 more minutes to wait for him to
He said,
say
I'm
something.
Noah the Boa. Let me talk my shit. This actually is him because it's at Trip No Ticks TV.
All right.
Super
Tell
Mario
me more.
Galaxy goated. I think Super Mario Galaxy is my next one. Was it
No
Meta glasses?
RPG?
I love RPG, but I want to try Super Mario Galaxy.
We got to find out.
Galaxy is the best 3D one for sure. Wow, I got to try it because I love fucking space. Well, it's kind of weird. Comma.
And you in space should get a room.
Yeah, right? I love space and I love Mario, so.
Without the sex.
Without the sex. All right, Trip No Ticks TV, you got 30 seconds to get it in.
Hit us.
Or we're bouncing. Shout out to Noah the Boa. Follow him on TikTok at Trip No Ticks TV.
Yeah. This is much like our Jalen Turner caller who was like putting the thing on blast and then being like, yo, why'd you guys put me on blast?
Let me talk my shit. All right, bro, you got the opportunity.
All right, let's go.
Type
Hurry up.
faster. He actually is a fighter. I did see him on TikTok. He does fight himself.
Oh, he's a fighter.
Yeah, he does fight himself, so shout out to him.
Oh, shout out. Love that.
Mario Paint. Wow.
Nah.
This is confession.
Mario Kart. I mean, yeah, Mario Kart.
Mario Kart, which one? Double Dash?
Nah, just
8?
64.
Mario 64. Kart 64 is not the best one.
What?
That's nostalgia speaking to you. I was going to say Natalia. That's Natalia Silva speaking to you about Mario Karts.
I mean, you know, I'd like that, but 64 was definitely the best system.
Like Mario Kart 64? Yeah. Have you played 8?
N64 was the best system, and the games within that platform are the best ones.
I really enjoyed Double Dash.
Mario 64, Mario Kart 64, the Smash Brothers on 64.
Why are you saying Mario?
That's how you say it.
Oh, you don't. It's been confirmed several times it's Mario.
Is this like a New York thing?
No.
Can you give us like Thank you. Yeah, do it. Do it.
Mario. He doesn't say, it's a me, a Mario. Also, you called him Mario Bautista all day.
Yes, many New Yorkers, particularly those with traditional NYC or Italian-American accent, pronounce Mario as Mario.
Well, they're wrong.
I don't know what to tell you.
007 Goldeneye, great game.
Mario.
DK64 is one that people sleep on.
How do you say Florida?
Florida?
Yeah, we say that different, I feel like.
How do you say it?
Florida.
Florida? Ocarina of Time, another great one.
64.
Yeah, I know. I'm listing great 64 games.
They're the best. It's the best one.
Mask.
Wave Racer.
Wave Racer. Jesus. You get that one for free with your fucking purchase?
Nah, Wave Racer was sick.
Shout out. Conker's Bad Fur Day. That was a crazy one.
And 64.
All right, here we go. Noah the Boa. Meta glasses. John came up to me in Buckley. Buck was recording too. Plus, I got a light on my Meta glasses, so he knew I was recording. Yeah, he did peep. He did look.
Wait, who's Buckley? Joaquin Buckley?
I would assume, yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the story. Joaquin Buckley was standing there too. That's who John was actually talking to.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Rick, Tetris is the best game of all time.
He's saying I would say that?
Yeah. Yo,
I mean, Tetris is a fucking
Isn't that a
amazing
quote
game.
from Billy Madison?
Yo, I'm seeing mad love for DK64 in the chat. That was one of my favorites. Shout out.
I'm telling you. So
WWF No Mercy.
Confirm, 64 is the best system.
I mean, they had a pod racing game.
Tough.
Rick, I think you're forgetting having to blow on the tapes to be able to work and hitting them repeatedly.
Rick loves
and,
blowing that shit, bro.
Like games, cartridges, whatever, Frank.
You're in a Nintendo SNES era. By 64, it was kind of sorted
I was blowing that shit hard.
Same.
Pause.
Shout out. Did he come? Did he come?
Did he
come
blow that
racing?
shit hard? And did he?
Yeah, wait.
Diddy Kong Racing was fire. Banjo Kazooie, Banjo Tooie. Don't sleep. Majora's Mask. Ocarina of Time gets too much love. Majora's Mask was also
fucking
fire.
crazy.
No.
N64.
Ocarina of Time was incredible. Majora's Mask was also
Consider this the pound for pound and 64 top.
That was
top
pretty
system
much
ever.
it. Yeah, big recap. I don't know what else to say. You stuck with us for the next few weeks, motherfuckers.
But
Crack
first,
tomorrow. Crack tomorrow. We're back on Monday. Petey will be joining us, not in studio. He's too lazy to fly over. And then we're back Tuesday. Uncrowned Doc on Wednesday. Then we're back Thursday. Then the crack again. Then we got to do it all over again. While Ariel is holding it down at the Olympics. That's it for us. Great show. I got to piss. We're out of here. See you Monday. Crack first tomorrow.